The following is a presentation of the Houston Texans.
I'm calling you out. Let's settle this.
And we are ready to rock in Houston.
Let's settle this once and for all.
On the way, Day has him down to the backfield flat.
Let's finish it.
Throws a deep downfield for Fuller. And Fuller's got it. Hopkins with a big game. Rock and roll. Touchdown. Texans. They do it.
Let's settle this once and for all.
Preseason is not just for the players, it's for the fans as well. After all, how can you be ready for mid-season tailgating if you don't tailgate in the preseason? That's what they're doing right now, getting set for the final matchup for the Houston Texans in the preseason. And welcome to Houston Texans Preseason Football presented by Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. Tonight from NRG Stadium, it's the final NFL preseason matchup for your Houston Texans against the Dallas Cowboys. And welcome inside NRG Stadium. I'm Kevin Kugler. Some people say this fourth game of the preseason is almost a throwaway. Don't tell that to the guys on the field tonight. For these guys, this game could be the difference between a career extended or a career ending. You perform well tonight, maybe you get one of those coveted 53-man roster spots. If you falter tonight, your NFL dream could come to an end. Plenty on the line tonight, and with me to navigate all the way through, former Houston running back Spencer Tillman. All right, Spencer, there's a lot of guys who are playing for an opportunity to continue to play in the National Football League. Give us a couple of guys on offense to keep our eyes on.
You know, partner, I think Braxton Miller's at the top of my list because he was such a high-value pick. Again, 22nd pick in the third round in 2016. They've been feeding him a lot here lately. They got the ball to him on the ground, nice little tunnel sweep here. In the screens, that's a number of things that he can do well. That's one of them. He also can catch the ball. They'd like to see him do more of that. High point at this touchdown, of course, last week against the Rams. He's doing the things, but he needs to be healthy enough to do them consistently to make this ball club, mainly because Sammy Coates is right there in his back pocket. And Sammy is a big-bodied guy, 6'1", 210 pounds. He can create separation. Nobody really can cover him. You can see evidence on this play. It's really tough to cover a guy that big. He can get separation. He's sure-handed as well. I think Braxton Miller knows that, and Sammy's not going anywhere anytime soon. He plans to be in the league for a while.
Plenty to watch at wide receiver. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Where are you focusing your eyes over there?
It's very difficult that you would find an MVP in the interior line, but we found one last week. Joel Heath. He really flashed more than a few times. He showed you the speed and quickness, but more than anything else, partner, the stick-to-itiveness. You can see if I can't get to quarterback, he can still affect the play with the hand. And this is just a sheer effort. Initial double team, spins out of it, and then makes the play. That's just wanting to make a tackle. I think, again, Angelo Blackson and company, done. All of those guys are fighting in an area that was really depleted last year, and all of a sudden, it's now a strength. He's in a big-time fight.
Well, it should be a lot of fun tonight to see who can make that 53-man roster. It's the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. Our last chance to see the Texans before the regular season begins in New England. The Texans Television Network will continue from Houston after these network messages.
This broadcast is brought to you by Reliant, an NRG company. By Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. By your local Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. And by First Community Credit Union, the official credit union of the Houston Texans.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity as we welcome you back inside NRG Stadium. Kevin Kugler alongside Spencer Tillman closing in on kickoff between the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. But before we kick this one off, time to welcome in the third member of our crew, Drew Doherty.
Yes, the Texans' key point of emphasis this offseason was getting better on the offensive line. They went active in free agency, but also spent one of their first draft picks on Martinez Rankin. Hadn't seen too much of him until last week. That was his first game played, but this is someone who the Texans think is going to be a building block for the future. Bill O'Brien said he's going to get some work tonight at left and right tackle, might even play a little bit of guard, and he's got off-the-charts intelligence for a rookie. We also talked to a defensive lineman who said, when this guy gets his hands on you, he's powerful, you feel it. He is somebody to watch too. He's going to be really, really good. Biggest challenge, Rankin said, is blocking for a quarterback like Deshaun Watson because the play is never over, and you got to keep blocking because that's a good thing. Going to keep an eye on Rankin tonight. He's going to play quite a bit. Left and right tackle, like we said, probably about 25, 30 snaps.
Yeah, a guy that they want to see on the field tonight because he didn't get those early snaps in the first couple of games of the preseason.
Bill O'Brien's put a lot on his play partner, and he's shown he's got the appetite for it. As Drew talked about, he's so smart, a tremendous athlete, wants to know why as much as how.
Nick Rose still out there kicking, kicks off. Darius Jackson back deep for the Cowboys, and 5 yards deep, he'll take a knee. And the touchback gives Dallas the opportunity from the 25 to get this one started. Not going to see a lot of Bill O'Brien's frontline guys tonight. Certainly won't see Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt. We saw those guys last week in Los Angeles. The head man getting his team prepared, not for this game as much as he is for the first game of the regular season in New England a week from Sunday. But a lot of decisions for Bill O'Brien and company, and for Jason Garrett and the Dallas Cowboys. That 53-man roster looms, the cut down coming. And they need to get those decisions made in the next 24 hours as Cooper Rush gets the start at quarterback tonight for the Dallas Cowboys. Darius Jackson is the running back on first down. And Rush off play action. Looking deep on the first play down the sideline, and the pass incomplete, and there comes some flags. Looking for Lance Lenore. And the penalty flag going to be thrown divergent on the coverage.
Hope this isn't indicative of what we're going to see tonight. A lot of flags typically flow in that final and fourth game because these second line players are trying to make it and they get a little bit anxious. But you can see Divergent locked up in man coverage. Bail technique. He puts that right hand on the shoulder and hooks him with that right arm. Here comes the call.
Defense. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Our referee Clay Martin, his first year as a referee in the National Football League out of Jenks, Oklahoma.
How about that?
High school basketball coach there.
Yeah, Jenks, great high school, but Trojans.
30-yard penalty puts it at the Texans' 45-yard line. Jackson on first down, right into the arms of Brennan Scarlett, and nowhere to go. No gain on the play for Darius Jackson. Good play by Scarlett for this Texans defense. And our starting lineups tonight are brought to you by Houston Methodist. Joel Heath, we talked about him at the top of the broadcast. He'll figure big in the middle of that defensive line tonight for the Texans. We saw Brennan Scarlett making a play. Josh Keyes, Brian Peters also expected out there. Justin Reed keeping an eye on the rookie. Expected to get between 25 and 30 snaps tonight, and he's coming on a blitz. On second down, the throw is too tall for Lance Lenore, but as Cooper Rush looked up, he saw the guy we were talking about, Justin Reed, bearing down on him.
Good eye, partner, off that weak side or to the field side, not the boundary side, the wide side of the field. He's coming off right here on the outside. You can see the quarterback is facing it. You can get rid of the ball when you can see that pressure coming. They're going to get lucky from time to time and get him coming off the edge when the play is going opposite of him, and then maybe compromise the quarterback's timing on that. That's going to be a play you see a lot from that guy.
Some questions around Dallas, who the number 2 guy is. Is it Cooper Rush? Is it Mike White, the rookie from Western Kentucky? We'll see them both tonight. On third down and 10, 4-man pressure, looking for Lenore again. He makes the catch, but immediately dropped short of the first down. Good tackle by Johnson Badamosi, 4 yards shy of the first.
Kalamalu and company were there backing him, giving him the pressure. You can see it's coming from both sides. The outside here, when you can create that kind of pressure, you got to have a throw on the dart. They do complete it, but it's a little bit short. Tremendous pressure by the outside rushers for the Texans.
One area we're going to be really keeping our eye on tonight, the return game, but no return at least right now. Now, Bruce Ellington is back. Brett Maher is on to try a long field goal. This 57 yards for Brett Maher. And this will be a field goal try. Maher with the distance, and it is good. Now, Brett Maher doesn't figure to make this Cowboys squad, but he's putting something on tape, a 57-yard field goal. And the Cowboys have the early 3-0 lead. All throughout tonight's game, we'll be checking social media to see what Texans fans are posting. Use the hashtag TexansGameDay. You can see your tweets and photos on the TV screen later tonight. Make sure you follow the Texans on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat for all the latest news, behind-the-scenes photos, and more. We're getting some good ones tonight. Final Texans game day of the preseason. QD will be ready for some football tonight and ready for some football in a couple of weeks. The Texans open the regular season in New England. 3-0 after a 57-yard field goal by Brett Maher. former Nebraska Cornhusker, will kick off. 5 yards deep. Here comes Tyler Irvin, first man with a chance at a return, and Irvin has a crease. A flag comes flying in behind the play. This return's coming back. But Tyler Irvin showing some good explosiveness through the hole. And Spencer, you've been in his shoes as a return man in this league a lot of times. Does the penalty being called on the play negate the good return in the mind of Bill O'Brien?
That's a great question. The coach knows that the player's not responsible as they unpack what actually happened on that play. Irvin's not responsible for what happened. His teammates let him down on that one. He's got to be able to come back, showed great instincts on that return. To me, I don't fault him for it at all as Bill O'Brien looks on. That was a great return.
Illegal block in the back. Number 14, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Tyler Irvin with a good return to start. We're going to keep an eye on that all night. That's one position, kick return and punt return, that Bill O'Brien is really interested in this fourth preseason game.
It's an instinctive run, and you can watch him see where the opening is, and he turns on the speed. It's a big gaping hole there. But I like the fact that he eventually gets vertical, splits another guy, gets an additional 5 yards after the initial contact. That's a very good instinctive return. Took it 5 yards deep with the new rules. That's good football.
Brandon Whedon with Alfred Blue, the running back, on first down. Whedon from the goal line. Under some late pressure, and it's dropped by Blue at the 10.
That's unfortunate. You know, Alfred Blue's done a lot of things. He says he's worked this offseason on his pass catching ability. Whedon did something that they probably don't want him to do a lot. They want him particularly backed up to get rid of that ball. As you look at his 60% completion percentage, that's a good number that you can win with that, but you got to be able to protect him. And then Blue, when you do check it down, you got to be sure-handed and pull that ball in.
We may see a little more interchangeability tonight with these quarterbacks. Not necessarily when Whedon leaves like we've seen earlier in the preseason. Is he gone for good? Here's Blue on second down. Good second effort there as he hit contact and churned forward for an extra yard or so across the 10-yard line.
Real nice instinctive move by Alfred Blue, just kind of hugging the line of scrimmage and going where the fewer bodies are, and that's just an instinctive run by Alfred Blue. At LSU, he's really a tough guy, regarded more as the guy that you want to protect the lead with, but he's shown us in recent weeks, the last 2 weeks in particular, that he can run it as well.
Third down and 5 for the Texans. On the 11, pocket collapsing on Whedon, fires to Ellington, trying to turn the corner, sticks the ball out. Going to be just short, I think. It'll depend on where they marked it, and it is a yard shy of the first down.
Part of that effective because the pocket was collapsing. It's the middle of that push, the center, and the guards have got to take care of that double team with just a 4-man rush. Got to be able to do it. Again, to stand up, the linebackers bail out of that. That leaves you with 4-man primarily rushing. You got 5 to block 4. You should win that math equation every time, but Texans on the short end still.
Shane Leckler, the veteran, on to punt. Lance Lenore back to receive for the Cowboys.
See who wants to cover here. There's a lot of water. It's a great opportunity for a return guy, but also for the cover team.
Lenore from the 42, and he's buried. Lenore with nowhere to go, right on the doorstep to make the stop as Lenore looked upfield, ran right into Peter Kalambai.
Kalambai does a nice job of playing with leverage. Inside shoulder up the field, he just nails it. A lot of time guys will try to get on the center of the guy, but instead you play on that right shoulder. You make sure that if he goes anywhere, it's coming underneath you. That's just a textbook tackle. That's the way to form him up and get your eyes open for the special teams play. I guarantee you there are going to be at least 2 to 3 guys that make this ball club tonight because of special teams play and plays like that.
Peter Kalambai making them notice him.
Make them hear you. Make them see you as well.
Jackson the single back on first down. Pressure up the middle, and there's Joel Heath.
That's why we had him, partner. That's why we had him last week as our MVP, and we started the top of this show about Jolie. He continues to pick up exactly where he left off. 93 here, just shoots inside, instinctive move, and pulls him down in the backfield. When you can play on the other side, there's nothing that will destroy a play-action play more than playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. And Joel Heath has been on a tear these last couple of weeks in particular.
4-yard loss on the play.
Woo!
On second down, Rush with pressure coming, sets up the screen to Jackson. Jackson held up briefly by Virgin, able to break the tackle, and then dropped near the 42-yard line. Let's check Let's check in downstairs. Drew Doherty's got more on Joel Heath.
Yeah, you saw that play there by Heath, and when we talked with him, the three of us yesterday, there was almost a zen-like calm to him. He's a young player, but he's got a little bit of experience. This is year number 3 if he makes it for the team. He said, I'm just going to go out, I'm going to play loose, I'm going to play fast, and that's what's going to speed me on and help me make this team if I make it.
He said he's focused on playing and having fun. He said the attitude came from when he was injured. So many guys, when they're injured, have a chance to reflect and come back with a different approach. Joel Heath certainly has. 3rd and 8 from the 42. Scarlett with pressure up the middle. Flushed out, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Reed down the sideline. Reed's got a lane, and Reed's got a touchdown.
Justin Reedham, and we talked about him at Stanford. He was a ball hawking safety back there playing center field. The receiver falls down, but Reed is all over it. Tight ropes it, may have stepped out of bounds, but if they snap the ball quick, it won't matter. They're huddling up and talking about it, but it doesn't negate the fact that you saw an instinct to play from a rookie. First player taken by the Texans this year in the 3rd round, shows you why they did it. He's got great instincts. All he needs to do is put that ball in that left hand so he can, if he needs to, stiff arm him and get you in the end zone. That's nice work by the rookie out of Stanford.
Every scoring play reviewed in the National Football League, and this one's going to be reviewed, and this one may come back.
Yeah, it may come back, but it still doesn't deter from the excitement of it all. You can see maybe in that crossover move there that left,
right
there it is, that right leg crossed over. Maybe a little bit more ball control. He makes it in, but that right leg definitely in the white.
But the pressure forcing the misfire by Cooper Rush into the arms of Justin Reed. We've seen a couple of draft picks early.
The ruling on the field has been changed. After the interception, the runner is ruled to have stepped out of bounds at the 44-yard line. It'll be first down, Houston, there.
So Clay Martin in his first year as an NFL referee telling us it's been overturned, but it doesn't overturn the good play of Justin Reed. He led the team in tackles against San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, comes up with a pick here.
And the thing you like it's kind of like a good stock. You know, he had the nondescript begin in week 1, kind of like a dog with a new pen. Wasn't quite sure whether to eat or not, but we've seen this slow, steady ascent culminating today with that interception. Even though it's coming back, it was a great effort in reading and instinctively putting on tape what we saw him do at Stanford with frequency.
Texans now with 5 interceptions in the preseason, 2nd in the AFC, and takeaways are something that Houston really going to stress. Romeo Crennel wants to see that carry over to the regular season, get that defense back to top form. Our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Verizon. It's 1st and 10 from the 44 of Dallas after the interception. Brandon Whedon back to work at quarterback. Off play action, Whedon with time, showing the arm strength, but a little bit too tall for Ellington, who had to leap up, and here comes a flag. And this may be that new helmet rule that we talked about on and off throughout this preseason.
Leading with the crown of your helmet or getting that parallel with your back parallel to the line of scrimmage, or to the field, I should say. Get in that posture is going to be a difficult thing. Got to keep your head up. I don't know. That was I don't know if that
no
qualifies.
Helmet there.
No helmet. Maybe the hand to the head. That could be the only thing I can see why they call it. But clearly, shoulder on either side.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on a defenseless player. Defense. 15-yard penalty at the previous spot. First down.
Jordan Lewis will be the guy who will be responsible for that flag. Texans will take it, and the defenseless receiver being Bruce Ellington.
Well, they're going to police it. If the player is defenseless and can't really protect himself, the ball's really thrown high. And I think the onus is on the quarterback, too, to help your receiver in those situations. And Whedon's got a big enough arm where he can get some air out of that ball and get it down a little bit to help Bruce Ellington.
From the 29 on first down, Alfred Blue, nice little cut. Blue cuts again, and Blue is close to a first down at the 19. Nice run by Alfred Blue.
Alfred Blue just ran right between a would-be tackle. You can see the instinct that he comes The vision is there on the inside to see exactly that little hole. Patience, waiting on that to clear up. That's what you call assisting the offensive line. Sometimes it looks like it's closed up, but if you can just be patient enough, they'll get there.
This trip to the red zone at the 19-yard line brought to you by Texas Children's Hospital. Troy Pope now in at running back for Houston. Coates and Ellington to the top of your screen. Weeded with time again, looking for his tight end. He's got Akins, and Akins down at the 3. First and goal, Texans. Another rookie. We've seen Kalambaye, we've seen Reed, and now Jordan Akins with a play early.
Akins took a little break a couple of weeks, and then he came back, and there he is once again. Had a touchdown a couple of weeks ago. He shows you those hands and that big body. It's really tough to cover these tight ends for the Texans, and again, they lost a lot last year, with just injury besieged that position.
First down and goal at the 3. Miller and Coates to the bottom of the screen. Blue with the carry. Blue in trouble, and Blue's buried. A loss on the play as Jerron Johnson, the former Seahawk, comes up to make the stop inside the 5.
I was going to continue that thought about losing C.J. Fedorowicz last year at the tight end position. The Texans have a serious threat down here with a couple of pass-catching tight ends, backs that can threaten you. Of course, we know about the plethora of receivers that they have that are competing. It actually expands the playbook. Maybe not so much for Wheaton, who's in the game right now, but for the 2 mobile guys, number 4 and Webb, 5, it's a big difference.
Akins is the tight end on the top side of the line. Whedon looking for Coates in the back of the end zone. That pass incomplete. Defended on the play by Marquez White.
Similar play to what Braxton Miller scored on last week against the Rams. That one was the correct route because there was only 1 receiver in that corner. Last week there was 2, but they got things sorted out on that particular play and allowed Sammy Coates to get a shot at it. A little hole in there as well as Bill O'Brien looks at it. The good thing about Bill O'Brien, he is an equitable coach. He's going to give every one of these players an opportunity that is in a position to make this team an opportunity to make it. And this is a nice trip formation here. You can do all sorts of creative things here, vertical routes, switch routes, and with proper protection inside zone.
Blue trying to get to the end zone. He does. Touchdown, Texans.
The other benefit of the spread formation, when you get them trips out there, everybody's manned up for sure. So you run it inside, zone blocking, 4 up front, no pressure look, so 5 to block their 4. Hey, that's a touchdown. You take it every time. But in order to put 3 receivers out there, you got to have legitimate threats at that wide receiver position before they'll cover them up. Now for Blue.
Nick Rose on for the extra point. Kaimi Fairbairn is very close to being back at that kicker role. In fact, got to believe you're going to see almost everybody who's been a little dinged up ready to go by the time New England beckons next Sunday. And Rose's extra point is good, and the Texans have a 7-3 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. 8:07 remaining in the first in Houston. Our scoreboard this quarter is brought to you by Hyundai, showing a 7-3 lead to the Houston Texans with 8:07 remaining in the first. If you want to win 2 tickets to the Houston Texans home opener against the New York Giants on September 23rd, it's easy. Just keep watching the game. We'll announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the 4th quarter. When you hear it, visit abc13.com and enter the Rising Star's name. You could win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game. You're on the sideline, as we've seen throughout the preseason. You'll see in the regular season as well. You got about a 50-50 shot of having J.J. Watt run by and play catch with you.
You talk about making a kid's day. He just goes around, and it takes him 5 minutes to do it, man. But he's touching literally hundreds of kids just playing catch. And you know that they're going to go tell everybody they know. I played catch with J.J. Watt.
He makes the rounds all the way around the stadium. Does it at home, does it at home. I mean, he just does it everywhere. Playing catch with the kids prior to the game. It's just so cool. This pregame catch in the stands.
And it's not just the kids, right? You saw the lady who got the ball.
He handed the lady, as the kickoff goes through the end zone for touchdown, he handed the lady the ball as he ran off the field. And you said it perfectly. It was her Price is Right moment. It was like she hit $1 on the big wheel. She's jumping up and down. I mean, that ball, she carried it up the stands like a Fabergé egg.
Absolutely. She was jumping up and down, man. I said, what happened? And you explained it to me, and she was acting just like the kids were.
It was fun to watch. It really was. And he does it every game. And he'll do it again this year with full health before he goes out on the field and makes an impact for the Texans on defense. Darius Jackson gets the carry on first down. Joel Heath says no way. How about Joel Heath? What a start.
Travis Frederick was actually trying to reach back there to see what he could do to kind of defend it. You can see number 93 just shows you the aggressiveness. Inside charge, keeps that left arm free despite being held, and comes out of that with an opportunity to make a tremendous play, and boy, does he do that ever. Kadeem Edwards was there, and also Ches Green was also there on the play as well, trying to stop him.
Mikhail McKay was the motion man for the Cowboys. And again, the carry looking for running room up the middle is Jackson. Jackson dropped by Kenan Gilchrist. One of the deepest areas I think anybody would say on this Texans team is this defensive line, especially when they're healthy. Look at some of the names. J.J. Watt, Christian Covington, D.J. Reader, one of the best nose tackles in the game. Brandon Dunn. We've seen Joel Heath. There are going to be tough decisions to make for Bill O'Brien and his staff. This defensive line spot is going to be a tough one because all 7 of those guys have done things in this preseason.
And they've shown brightly. Angelo Blackson, to me, was a keeper from the beginning, and he's been quiet of late. But there's going to have to be some very difficult decisions made in that group.
3rd down and 5 on the slant. The pass incomplete. Virgin on the coverage against Mikhail McKay, and the Texans defense gets the stop again.
Well, D. Virgin was in Mikhail's back pocket, man. He's just playing his coverage that's really tight. Jason Garrett knows as an ex-quarterback exactly how to appreciate a guy that just cleanly played and defended that. Just a tremendous effort by D. Virgin.
Back deep is Bruce Ellington now, as we keep our eye on who gets the nod for kick and punt returns, aiming toward the regular season. A big question for Bill O'Brien. Ellington on the run, fields it at the 27-yard line. A flag in on the sideline, and Ellington tripped up at the 32-yard line. We've got a flag down and a hat off. There's going to be a hold against the Texans.
And the unfortunate thing, the difficult truth, is the Texans assess their special team play. Holding on this time. There's been penalties on both their return opportunities that have been called back. And again, that's a low lining shot coming Bruce Ellington's way. That's an opportunity to return it to make something happen. You can see outside, these guys are battling out here.
During the kick, holding, number 31 receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, timeout.
Treston Deku called for the penalty and a timeout in Houston. 7-3 lead for the Texans with the ball when we return. 7-3 lead for the Texans. 6:41 remaining in the first. He's in midseason form right there. Ready to root on the Texans not only tonight but all year long. After the penalty, Houston starting at the 16-yard line. Troy Maine Pope with the carry. Good cutback and a little explosion. Pope upended as he gets to the 27-yard line. A 1st down. Troy Maine Pope with an excellent carry at the tackle by Donovan Olumba.
Fresh legs from Pope. You can see the stretch play. He's going to bring that thing back, and he sees it really quickly. Tremendous job of the front line. But again, when you're trying to cut the ball back, eventually at some point in time, whoever's responsible for playing leverage, and it's usually the off corner, is going to stop you. So you got to get vertical at some point in time. Great run, though.
1st down and 10 at the 27-yard line. Pope again with the carry. Pope a yard. Maybe 2 to the 29-yard line. Our starting lineups on offense brought to you by Houston Methodist. That starting offensive line, Greg Mance, who signed a contract extension through 2020 earlier today. He's not at center at the moment. He started the game, but Kyle Fuller handling the snaps right now. Alfred Blue got the nod tonight. We saw him with a touchdown earlier. Brandon Whedon, the starting quarterback tonight, and he's gone the whole way in this first quarter.
Showing a pressure look. Let's see if the Texans can protect.
Irvin, the running back, pressure coming, and Whedon just has to spike that football. He looked up, and Justin March Lillard was bearing down, and discretion being the better part of valor. Spencer got rid of that football.
great decision. Marsh Leonard was coming off this side here. That was the pressure look we identified before the snap. And again, sometimes you just got to play to fight another day and just put the ball on the ground, and that's exactly what Wheaton did. Look, he knows what his focus is. We talked about 3 points a couple of weeks ago, being efficient and clean, and then getting the ball off quickly. That's a big asset that he has the capability of doing. He needs to do more of it. It's a good decision.
Ellington and Miller to the bottom of the screen. Coates the receiver to the top. On 3rd and 8. Wheaton in trouble again. And Wheaton is going to be sacked back at the 25. Charles Tapper was the first pressure and then finished off by Daniel Ross.
Daniel Ross, as you said, finished it off, but the Texans were looking at a blitz look, and then the Cowboys bail out of that look. Typically what happens is the quarterback can get nervous when you see so many opposite jerseys out there, but they're bailing out. You got to sort it out, keep your eyes up the field, and not give up on the coverage, give up on your receivers so quickly.
One of the other battles in camp is this punting battle between Shane Leckler and Trevor Daniel. Yeah. Daniel punting now. Lenore waiting for the punt at the 29. And Lenore breaks one tackle but can't break another. Good coverage again by the Houston Texans, and a flag is thrown. Penalties aplenty on special teams, both sides tonight.
They're going to sort it out. You were talking about special teams and Fairbairn and how he got on this team.
There in the kick, holding, receiving team number 59. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
There's Covington called for the hold.
Bill O'Brien's got a lot of decisions he's got to make.
Well, we want you to be a part of the Houston Texans season ticket member family. Tickets for the 2018 season are already sold out, but you can reserve a spot on the 2019 priority wait list today. It's free to join, and members receive exclusive benefits. Visit HoustonTexans.com for more information. Cooper Rush still in at quarterback for the Cowboys. Darius Jackson still the running back on first down. Rush with play action fires to the sideline, and Michael Gallup, one of the highly touted rookie receivers in this preseason, out to the 26-yard line. They have been given rave reviews to their 3rd-round pick out of Colorado State, a guy who figures to play a big role for Dallas this year.
He's got speed, and he's got the ability to run after he catches it, but D. Virgin did a nice job of defending on that play and limiting the damage, excuse me.
Gallup led the NCAA last year with 60 catches of 10 yards or more. 2nd and 3 at the 26-yard line. Flag down as Jackson gets the carry, and he runs right into the arms of big Angelo Blackson.
You can't tell me these defensive linemen for the Texans aren't really wired for the moment. They know that they're in the battle. All of them. That's a tough one. We talked about Dunn. Angelo Blackson's another one of those guys.
Offside, number 48 defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Davin Bellamy, and that'll give a first down.
Let's take another look at it. Should be pretty clear here. Bellamy working on the edge here. You can see does a nice job of coming down the line of scrimmage, but I don't see where that was an issue.
1st and 10 at the 31. Bellamy chasing and just spiking the football as Cooper Rush. So Bellamy trying to make up for the offsides, breaking through with some pressure and forcing the incompletion.
That's one way to kind of snap and clear your mindset. You can see Bellamy does a nice job of not really taking the bite with the fullback coming underneath or the H-back coming underneath for the reception, and he just gets back involved in the play, makes a tremendous effort there. He's had a great camp, great preseason. Just needs to be a little bit more consistent.
2nd down and 10 at the 31. Jackson the carry, nowhere to go up the middle. This time Carlos Watkins in on the play. Calling a lot of different guys in the middle of that defensive line, which is going to make Bill O'Brien's job really difficult for any cuts that have to occur there.
Brandon Dunn's got to be up next. You can see him, Carlos Watkins and all these guys that are working inside. Number one, what makes Watkins effective, number 91, is that he plays a full 1.5 yards on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Anytime you disrupt that and the quarterback has turned his back to the formation, you're going to have an opportunity to disrupt the play.
3rd down and 10 at the 31. Four-man rush. Blackson coming up the middle, and it's dropped by Jackson. Punt team will come on for Dallas.
That's inexcusable when you've got a ball out there in the flat area. Every player just longs for that. Rush got it to him exactly where it needed it, just dropped it.
That's not been a thing we've seen from Darius Jackson in the preseason. Had 9 catches in the previous games for Dallas.
No, he's typically a sure-handed receiver out of the backfield. Another return opportunity for the Texans. Another chance to solidify a spot on this team.
Ellington back deep again.
He's got this one.
From the 27, Ellington to the 35, and down there an 8-yard return for Ellington. Texans football and a timeout in Houston. Houston up by 4.
I think you have guys with good experience, guys that maybe don't have as much experience, but you've got some really good, talented guys that have to mold together really quickly. Hopefully that communication, that continuity will really rise to a good level for us.
Bill O'Brien with a 7-3 lead, talking offensive line, and this offensive line is another spot where they've been looking for some depth. The return of Martinez Rankin to full health certainly helps that. He is on the left side now at left tackle, and Joe Webb in at quarterback. And on the first play, Webb showing his wheels, and Joe Webb close to a first down, just shy of the 45-yard line.
Wasting no time with the zone read concept. That's what he does best. A little mesh point and then pull it out when that defensive end runs downhill like that. Number 5, that's like stealing for him. He can see that read from a distance and pull it out. He's got the speed to separate and get away from you.
Numbers through the preseason for Joe Webb, averaging almost 7.5 yards per carry.
You may even see him in the receiver side sometimes.
Pope bouncing to the outside, and Pope's got the first down. He had Donovan Olumba closing quickly, but Pope had the speed to get the edge, and a first down at the 49.
Pope was a 4-4 guy. That just shows you what Pope was able to do. The Jackson State grad just scooted around that outside, and boy, he got there in a hurry too, man. Got upfield after he made the turn, 4 additional yards for the first down.
From the 49-yard line.
Nice.
Webb to Lingle on the short pass and into Dallas territory at the 48-yard line. We talk about the offensive line and the decisions that have to be made. And look, Nick Martin, Davenport Henderson, Fulton, Calamete, those guys are going to be your starting 5 in New England, barring anything that happens. Rankin, Mance, I figure those guys are in good shape. Then you wonder where the cuts are going to come from.
Yeah, one of the guys with great stories like David Questenberry, overcoming cancer, coming back to play. Nobody in the NFL has ever done that, been away from the game for as long a period of time and made an impact.
Here's Pope on 2nd and 7. And no gain on the play back at the 48 as we go back downstairs to Drew Doherty.
Hey, lots of C words when you think about this offensive line this offseason. We've heard cohesion, chemistry, communications, all much, much better for them. In fact, talking to a defensive player yesterday, and Joel Heath, he notices it. He says, yeah, there's something a little bit different. They're getting along a little bit better, and it's a lot tougher to get to the quarterback and the running back now, the way they're communicating, no matter who's up front for them on the offensive line, whether it's first string or second. And
that's really been a consistent message from that offensive line. We've talked with Julian Davenport, Nick Martin in this preseason, and they've all said the same thing. 3rd down and 7. Webb looking deep for Ellington on the sideline, just past his fingertips. One-on-one coverage with Duke Thomas, and Webb and Ellington just missed a big hookup.
Duke Thomas had him covered about as well as you possibly can from man coverage. Does a nice job of turning and running. A nice job in the instinctive veteran move with that right hand to pop the shoulder. And then Bruce just ran out of real estate on that side, but that ball was well placed.
And the battle at punter continues. Back out there is Shane Leckler. Got the old head and the young gun battling at punter. 41-year-old Shane Leckler in his 19th year. One of the all-time greats hangs this one short. Lenore calling for the fair catch and makes it inside the 20-yard line. 5 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Visit the Houston Texans team shop in Bud Light Plaza at NRG to grab the newest gear for the season, plus something white for the Liberty Whiteout game on September 23rd. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and shop our official online store anytime at shop.houstontexans.com.
Just to follow up on that thought on special teams, you remember Texans had to make a tough choice with Nick Novak, letting him go, and then Fairbairn, that's how he's on this team. And some point in time it's going to happen. You just hate to be the guy that pulls the trigger on the guy that could be one of the greatest punters of all time.
Bo Scarborough now the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, the rookie from Alabama. Darius Jackson and Bo Scarborough, the guys who are battling for a spot on this team for Dallas, and Scarborough with nowhere to go. Tried to get to the outside, and he ran right into a brick wall. Ibrahim Campbell and Kenan Gilchrist providing the pop to end the first quarter. Texans end the first with a 7-3 lead. We'll have more of the Texans Television Network continuing from Houston after these messages. Our game stats are brought to you by Reliant. Through the first quarter, this Texans defense has been making plays. Dallas's first snap, Spencer Tillman, was a 30-yard gain by penalty. The next 13 plays, 20 total yards for the Dallas Cowboys. Texans defense with an excellent start to this ball game. Cooper Rush, quick screen out to the edge, and Lenore tripped up. Not much running room. Texans really swarming to the football. Kenan Gilchrist making another play.
Shoestring tackle by Gilchrist, getting out there working in space. And again, on the opposite side of the ball, just a tremendous play. You can see the energy for these guys that know they're on that proverbial bubble, trying to make an impact. Again, I call it the element of recency. What these coaches see last, they're going to remember most. And those plays like that definitely count big.
Well, not only the Texans coaches, but coaches around the league,
that's
too.
Right. All of them are looking. As Bill Belichick reminded everybody last week, everybody's like, what do you think you're doing?
On third down, Cooper Rush has gone the whole way at quarterback so far for Dallas. To the sideline, Lenore with the catch, and he's out of bounds right at the marker, working against Bryce Jones. It'll be a first down for Dallas.
That was a good cross-the-field throw, and again, it's a tough throw, but it's an NFL-caliber throw. On the point, just a tremendous job of executing a very difficult throw.
Dak Prescott, of course, will be quarterbacking Jason Garrett's team when these Cowboys are back here on October 7th for a little Sunday night affair. First down at the 28. Rush looking to the sideline. McKay makes a nice adjustment and makes the grab. Andre Sacheret on the coverage. That's just good work by the wide receiver, Mikhail McKay.
Stop route. Sacheret really couldn't cover this any better than he did. It was just a tremendous. The ball is coming out irrespective. As you get to the top of the route of the tree, the ball is coming out. So again, Sacheret's trying to defend it, does a nice job. Perfect thrown, pass, executed. Nice pitch and catch.
From the 43-yard line on first down. Scarborough with the carry. And Scarborough found a little crease down to the 48, a pickup of 5 on the play. Inside linebacker for the Houston Texans, Spencer Tillman. What are you looking at this position?
Well, I think it's the surest group of 3 with Bernard McKinney, Cunningham, and Dylan Cole that the Texans have had since D'Amico Ryan was circling around back there as a captain. But I think that Josh Kai's flashed early on. I think Brian Peters is a big-time special teams guy. He's going to be in the mix. And I think, you know, Gilchrist is showing tonight that he deserves to be in that mix too. It's going to be tough. I'd hate, as we look at Dylan Cole, to be the guy having to make the decision about that.
Yeah, Dylan Cole, Bill O'Brien said last week with us, he's one of the best players on this team. Rush on second down, nice juggled and incomplete. Very nice play by Andre Sacheret. That'll bring up third down.
Well, that's a beautiful defensive play there by Sacheret. Yeah, that's great clinic on right hands, keeping them free. Take a look at Dylan Cole. He's used to making some big plays on defense as well, my friend. In space, an undrafted free agent comes in here from a small college with a big attitude, though, and a chip on his shoulder. One of the greatest personalities, and he's emerged, according to Bill O'Brien, as one of the better athletes on this ball club. This is his pick 6. Gave the ball away to a young lady in the stands. One of the great stories, too, of last year.
3rd and 5 of the 48. Setting up the short pass, and it's dropped by Scarborough at midfield. We talk about decisions the Texans have to make. That's an area the Cowboys are trying to make a decision. Jackson or Scarborough at the running back spot, backing up Ezekiel Elliott. that's certainly not going to help your case.
Well, it certainly won't. And again, I think Bo Scarborough, to me, I've had a chance to watch that guy execute and play out of Alabama. He is the type of guy that can make plays in space and do some things, but he isn't showing it tonight. He's almost playing like he's tentative or hurt.
So now Tyler Urban gets a shot at punt return. Going to see this all night long. Rotations through this return game, trying to find somebody who will make that play as Urban calls for the fair catch at the 12-yard line. 12 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Texans enjoying the lead over Dallas.
A portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Verizon, by Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day, and by Hyundai, the official car of the Houston Texans.
Scoreboard this quarter is brought to you by HEB. 12-14 remaining in this second. 7-3 advantage. The Houston Texans. Texans will start at their own 12-yard line. Joe Webb, the quarterback, once again. Troy Pope, the running back.
Got those heels at 7 yards. That's a stretch play if I ever saw one. Well, Joe's dialing out of. He's identified that Mike linebacker.
Play action. Webb looking to the sideline for Vincent Smith. Pretty well covered out there on the sideline by Dallas and Donovan Olumba.
Joe played that, changed it at the line of scrimmage. And again, when you see that back's heels as deep as that, that's really about a stretch play. But if you get the coverage that you're looking for, it can easily become a pass opportunity because you've got people in man coverage. And if you throw the ball on target, there's going to be an opportunity for you.
Second down and 10. Now Tyler Urban at running back.
Trips formation and a back. Tight end flex.
And a flag is thrown. A little motion up front.
Yeah. Procedure probably.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 74 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Kendall Lamb.
See if we can see big 74 back there. Kendall Lamb kind of leans back. You know, a lot of times if there's a smaller guy that's opposite of them, they get a little antsy because it's a linebacker. They know they've got to set their feet quickly to handle that athleticism across from him. Kendall just not hold your water, brother.
On second down, and a near disaster for Webb as Charles Tapper came flying in. He can wrap that thing up. He's going to dance into the end zone.
Charles Tapper tapped that one down. You can see him coming off the right edge here. He's down, got his hand down. Gives you the impression that he's not there, but he's long. He's got tremendous range. The guy's almost 6'6". Shows you exactly what he's capable of doing with those long arms, man. But that was, as you said, partner, almost a disastrous outcome there. Good goodness.
Tried to close his big arms around that football and just missed on the close, but didn't miss on the swat. Third down and 15 at the 7. Texans 1 for 4 on third down tonight. Webb flushed. Webb throwing on the run. Open is Quan Bray. First down. 25 yards. Webb to Bray to move the chains.
Partner, that was a brilliant execution play by Webb. You can see, first of all, it's just a 4-man rush, but it was enough as a rush because of the game to flush him out. But he's going one direction, throws Bray open with the right hand moving to his left. Keeps his eyes downfield like he told us the other day. That's a textbook job.
From the 32, Troy Pope with the carry. He picks up 3 to the 35. This running back position, a very interesting spot as well. Now, Deontay Foreman is likely going to start on the PUP list, still recovering from that ruptured Achilles last November. Lamar Miller and Alfred Blue, you'd think those guys are pretty well set, but then how many do you carry, and what do you do with this position? And do you bring a fullback along?
Well, I don't know. One of the things that Coach O'Brien told us yesterday gave us a clue. We'll unpack it after this penalty.
It's one of the running backs, as mentioned. Levon Coleman with a first down to the 46, but a flag down back to the 34-yard line.
And to finish the thought, you know, one of the things that Bill O'Brien told us in our meeting was that if you have problems blocking or protecting, just send the back in coverage out on a route or something, and that satisfies that. If you're playing man, it certainly will be the case. So maybe blocking doesn't come as a premium. He feels like he's got enough talent up front to protect.
Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
So as Bill O'Brien looks on, what that means is if you got enough to protect up front, enough talent and athleticism, the back doesn't become the liability that he typically would if you had an aging offensive line like they did last year. I know that we don't like to call names, but Breno Giacomini was getting up there in year 11, just wasn't mobile as some of these younger guys you have now.
So 2nd and 12 after the penalty. Good protection this time for Webb. Throws it low in the direction of Irvin, and now 3rd and long for Houston.
You know, again, that's an example of when you get an athletic play on the previous play where he's able to throw across his shoulder, go in the opposite direction and puts it right on the moving target. And then all of a sudden, a much easier throw, you can't make it. It's that consistency that Bill O'Brien is looking for number 5. It'll certainly make his decision to keep 3 quarterbacks a lot easier.
Does he do enough, A, as a quarterback, and B, elsewhere as a wide receiver or a special teams player? See the numbers last week for Joe Webb, 7 of 10, 93 yards and a touchdown.
If he's called on to play special teams, that's a difference maker for him.
3rd down and 12. Pocket collapsing again. Webb on the run, looking for the first down yardage. He's caught at the 37-yard line. I looked for a flag there for a moment, Spencer. I thought a face mask happened as he came out of the pocket there.
It really did. And again, you can see the protection is there for the most part. He feels it, does what he does best, and steps up. And that right hand, what it certainly did look like it jerked his head around there, and that they just missed it.
May have been the collar.
Yep.
There's the finish to it. No flag thrown, so the Texans will punt, and back comes Trevor Daniel.
And you can be splitting hairs, but I think what Joe Webb is going to learn from plays like that is once that rush gets past you, that internal clock starts. And if they went past you, they're coming back. So when you step up, you got to have a sense of that.
Daniel punting to the Lenore. Lenore at the 14-yard line with a flag down, and Lenore buried at the 15. Vincent Smith, part of the coverage downfield for the Houston Texans. Also down there once again, we've seen him twice now, Peter Kalambayi.
Kalambayi, but Vincent Smith is a receiver, one of those, we call them pencil neck receivers down there making plays. I'm telling you, the narrative of trying to do something and extend your career is evident for us to follow the game, and you at home to watch it as well. Watch number 17, Vincent Smith come down, shed, and then play with leverage. Keeps that left hand free, gets a sure tackle.
Cowboys are going to back up a penalty on Dallas at a timeout in Houston. Texans still up 4.
That enforcement will be half the distance to the goal.
9:17 remaining in this second quarter. 7-3 lead for the Houston Texans. Kevin Kugler, Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty, our Texans TV crew. Back home in Houston for the final game of the preseason. Quick screen on 1st down. Nowhere to go. D. Virgin on the tackle. Minimal gain on the play for Drez Anderson, and it's 2nd down.
I like getting after D. Virgin, whether he's on the far side of the field or the short side of the field. They've been coming after him a little bit, but he's been covering like a blanket out there, doing a nice job of acquitting himself at the corner spot.
Our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Mattress Firm, showing 8 yards to gain a 1st down for Dallas. Bo Scarborough back in there at running back. Scarborough with the carry. Tripped up as he got to the 15-yard line. A lunging tackle made by Nick Thurman.
Thurman got in there, got a hand, and good thing he did too, because this is an athletic back here that you're looking at. Scarborough, if he gets in the open field, he can really hurt you. Typically, he runs through tackles like that.
2-time national champion at Alabama.
Yep.
Came in with 52 yards and a touchdown in the preseason as Romeo Crennel's defense trying to come up with another stop here on 3rd down.
This is one of those run conflict plays you can run or pass, 3rd medium.
Rush to the air, and it's caught at the 20-yard line and a 1st down. That's Rico Gathers, former Baylor basketball player, that's trying to make the transition to tight end for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Rico gathers that one in quickly. The Texans kind of running a game in the middle, which actually opened up a little bit of a lane. There's no way you can always anticipate and guess right, but that little game brings in 2 blue jerseys and puts them in close proximity to one another, which leaves a natural lane. And they're able to find that, and Gathers pulls it in for 1st down. The Cowboys down the far side of the field with a loose shoe.
Shoe down, man down. Damian Mama
He's got the tattoo working, doesn't he? That left wing.
Getting the shoe put on now. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Jeez. Coach Garrett just put some glue on that thing. Keep it.
I didn't notice a lot of sympathy coming from the head coach.
I'm surprised they didn't get penalized.
First down at the 21-yard line. Motion across from Lenore. Rush to throw. Pocket collapsing. Flag down. So is Rush. The ball's out. Darius Kilgo may have it at the 17. And he does.
It's going to be holding on the Cowboys anyway. It doesn't matter. Kilgo did a nice job of scooping that ball up.
Kingsley Opara got to Cooper Rush.
And it's just a four-man rush. Kilgo does a nice job of continuing to push on. And again, from that far side, Kamalu and company.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 60 defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Oh, rough penalty against
Wow.
the Texans. Instead of a turnover inside the 20.
But where that flag came out, man, it looks like this is the penalty right there, hand to the face.
Opara, who got to the quarterback, got there with the hands to the face right there.
That's it right there. Hand to the face. Kamala cleaned it up and actually jolted it out from the other side. You could clearly see that's where the ball came out, but tough call.
First and 10 at the 26.
Good call.
Swing pass, Gallup. And Gallup dropped by Sachere.
Sachere did exactly how he was supposed to do in that play. You got to make a guy declare. Don't give him a two-way go. Gallup could go right past you. But Sachere did a nice job of saying, hey, you're going inside. So he puts that hat on the outside shoulder, form tackle, knows he's got a safety over the top.
Andre Sachere trying to make it difficult in the secondary for Bill O'Brien, trying to pare it down to 53. 2nd and 5 at the 31. Scarborough with the carry and a first down, right in the wave to the 37-yard line.
Not that it mattered what was happening in the interior, but the Texans in a soft coverage type look on the corners, and that cushion kind of gives you a sense of the overall attitude of how they're going to play that particular play, and the Cowboys get a first down out of it.
Well, one thing you know, Spencer, is neither of these teams are exactly going to open up the playbook very big for this game, considering these two teams will be right back here in a month to play in a regular season game.
Bill O'Brien made that clear to us. Now, maybe it's not.
From the 37, juggled, and that one incomplete. Mikhail McKay working against D. Virgin, almost bounced around enough to get it picked off.
They may not be game planning, but they think that they can work against D. Virgin. They like that matchup, but D. Virgin does a nice job of closing on it. Probably it was off coverage, so some distance between him and the receiver. The ball was high. Another opportunity for somebody else to come and clean it up. A great defense by D. Virgin. He ought to be squatting on one here pretty soon, looking for an interception, because they're going to keep testing him.
On 2nd down. Swing again and buried. There's Virgin at the 34. Yep. Lance Lenore still slow to get up after this hit.
Folks, this is what we call making them hear you. D. Virgin is playing right here. He is the corner, but he senses the play, reads it like a computer, comes up in between the coverage, and then puts the man on the other side of the line of scrimmage down. That's excellent football play, diagnosing the play and finishing it off. Coaches will take note of that. That's big-time football right there now.
And Lenore still hurt. The hit completely legal and completely clean. And Lenore still down after the hit from D. Virgin.
And you never want to see a player get hurt, but when you play a play that way and it's clean and he comes up a little bit slower, that's more for people to just isolate and talk about him. The coaches are going to talk about D. Virgin and the play that he made. That's strong defense right there.
Spent all of last year on the Texans practice squad. Romeo Crennel has to like what he sees.
Oh, yeah. And see that flexibility, Romeo really just loves that. A guy that can play the run, but also be solid in coverage. Teams continue to try him. He's going to end up coming up with a pick.
Third down and 13 at the 34. Rush with pressure, sets up a screen to Scarborough, juggles it, got it back, and Scarborough out of bounds well shy of the first down.
And if I'm not mistaken, partner, I think that was the Virgin who came up on that side, got in that fray. Scarborough was trying to get a handle on it. The slow screen, that'll take some of that edge off of those guys coming and getting hungry. But yeah, that was Virgin that popped that ball out of there. Almost got it. 2-11 in progress almost.
And 2-1 back to return the punt.
That's right. This will be an opportunity here.
Good punt.
The flag.
At the 8, Irvin dancing away from one and down at the 15-yard line. A flag down on the near sideline at about the 24. Have we had a return today without a flag?
No, it's unfortunate. It's always been the Texans, though. That's Brad Seeley, the new special teams coach, 30-year veteran in this, is not going to be happy about that. Every significant opportunity they've had for a return, whether it be punt or kickoff, they've had a penalty.
During the kick, holding, number 39 receiving team. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
Here's Coach Seeley.
Ibrahim Campbell with the penalty. Teaching moment on the sideline with Coach Seeley. Want to win 2 tickets to the Houston Texans home opener against the New York Giants on September 23rd? It's easy. Just keep watching the game you're watching right now. We'll announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the 4th quarter when you hear it. Visit abc13.com and enter the Rising Star's name. You can win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game. After the penalty, Texans backed up at their own 3-yard line.
Got to be careful here.
The give is to Terry Swanson, just trying to buy a little breathing room, gets a yard to the 4. Undrafted rookie from Toledo with his first look tonight.
Always want to protect the ball back here, and again, if a coach has confidence to put it in your hands, first priority backed up against your own goal line is to protect the ball at all costs.
Second and 9 at the 4. Webb from the end zone. Over the middle. Miller with the grab and a first down. 22-yard pickup on the play to Braxton Miller.
You talk about some nice touch over the center fielder. You can see that ball comes up over the head, and that's called dropping a dime, folks, over coverage. Hung in there with the pressure, did Webb, and just placed a dime for Braxton Miller.
From the 26, first down carry for Swanson, got a block. Flag is down as Swanson's down in Dallas territory at the 45. This one's likely coming back.
And that's unfortunate too, because it may be Quan Bray that gets called for holding on this play downfield, but it's a tremendous job on the inside zone read play. Texans popping that Bill O'Brien. Trust me, he wants to be able to run the football. He's disappointed that they have this one coming back.
Holding, number 62 offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Chad Slade who got the call.
So here's 62 right here, Chad Slade. Let's see what he does. He's uncovered. He's on a double team attack. He works his way up through to the linebacker and just pulls him down to the ground. I don't know about that one, man. There was no impact on the play ultimately. The back was quick as a hiccup. He was gone.
Well, that's a tough hold.
Yeah, he was gone, man. They've got to be able to use some discretion in those situations, as far as I'm concerned. If there's no impact on the play, keep the hanky in your pocket.
Says the former running back who just lost a carry there. Here's Miller at the 30-yard line, and that's where he will stop and pick up a 5 on the play.
Bias?
There should never be a flag thrown on any running back play, says Spencer Tillman, former running back. Second down and 5 at the 31.
Trips formation. Let's see what the Texans got here. Great call.
Carry for Swanson. Trying to push the pile to the 32-yard line. It'll leave Houston 4 yards short of the first.
Yeah, it was a great call, and here's why. Again, if you're looking at home and you're saying, hey, let's make them play defense and defend the areas that are weak up front, there was a gap or a hole to that left side. You run to the weakness. That's what you do. And if you got a down to burn, you go ahead and do it. Maybe you pop it.
It's going to be the final play before the 2-minute warning here in this first half. Texans and Cowboys locked in a defensive struggle. 7-3 Houston.
We have some great leaders on this team, you know, guys that are at different stages of their career, guys that have played a ton of football, maybe some guys that haven't played a ton of football, but they're obviously leaders, Deshaun Watson. And so I think we're going to incorporate some things into training camp to really foster those guys, their leadership roles, and I think it'll be really good.
Back in the olden days, we used to call that mandatory fun, the facilitating the players coming together. But Bill O'Brien is right on. He knows that leadership is the attribute in greatest demand, yet shortest supply. And it can really float you when you're struggling in areas. And so certainly this team, besieged with injuries last year, was nothing but leadership that kept them together.
And he's very happy with how that leadership has developed over the course of camp and through the first few preseason games. It's going to be a very interesting season. And you know, they're going to be tested right away. You go to New England week 1 and Tennessee week 2. Not too many teams in the league are going to have a tougher road to start this season than the Houston Texans.
And if you pass that test, you can certainly leverage it with this young team.
3rd down and 4 at the 32. Just the 3-man rush. Webb to the air. Finds his tight end, Jordan Akins, with a first down. Second catch of the night for Akins, and he showed a little bit of that burst at the end of the catch.
The burst, the pocket patience by Webb, eyes upfield, but watch him step up and deliver a strike, giving Akins an opportunity to get vertical up the field and to finish off a great run. Execution was fantastic. Protection, Webb's patient, Akins hauling it in.
You saw the speed that his college coach Scott Frost talked about, unusual speed for someone his size, and he showed that burst there as Levon Coleman is stoned at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Scott Frost knows speed when he sees it. Boy, that team went undefeated of his at UCF last year, and he was just surrounded by talent all across the field, and Akins was just one of the weapons that he had at his disposal. Put it on display here tonight against the Cowboys.
Akins, a 26-year-old rookie. He was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 3rd round, spent several years in minor league ball, and movement up front. Kendall Lamb on the left side started to go.
There's a couple of penalties tonight on Lamb. They're going to make the case that maybe he was drawn off, but you could clearly see him, something drew him off, and he had that kick step with that left leg.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
We saw Jordan Akins make a big splash early.
Runoff.
And those 2 touchdowns he scored in Kansas City kind of announcing his arrival in the National Football League. 4 years of minor league baseball for Akins, but this is a guy that the Texans really think they can use in a variety of ways.
What C.J. Fedorowicz gave them, the ability to muscle people around, was one thing, and then he started to develop as a pass catcher. With Akins, you get all of that and more athleticism on top of it. The guy's got tremendous skill set, an affinity for the end zone, and the maturity that I love you talked about a minute ago. The fact that he is 26 doesn't bother me at all. He has a staidness about him that you would expect. He's got a little bravado about him too. What tight end doesn't like to score?
Elite ball skills, great athleticism, unusual speed. It's a pretty good combination. 2nd and 15 after the penalty from the 44. Webb in trouble, hit, and the pass incomplete, looking for Irvin. That pressure coming up the gut from Dorrance Armstrong, who's had a really strong camp, the rookie from Kansas, with pressure on Joe Webb.
Coach Beatty had some talent in there, and Armstrong did a nice job of working on an inside game that got him free inside to create pressure.
Third down and 15.
Cowboys playing coverage.
Webb in trouble, and Webb is sacked. 4-man rush. Jihad Ward The third-year man from Illinois with the sack and a timeout taken by Dallas.
You know, Joe Webb has got to understand what's happening here. It's just
Dallas,
a four-man rush, so you got 8 back in coverage. If they're covered up, you better know you got to get rid of that ball or move the pocket or move up in the pocket to elude and use your asset, which is your legs, to avoid that pressure. And again, he just hung in there a little bit too long and relied on that offensive line. But he's amazing, man. Sometimes he's so accurate and gets those legs and that athleticism allows him to put the ball on the spot while he's moving. The dime he put on Braxton Miller over coverage, and then a decision like that, you know. So you just need to get consistency with him.
Shane Leckler to punt. Lance Lenore, who was dinged up earlier, back out there returning for the Cowboys. Lenore will call for the fair catch. And a little bobble, but he makes it on his knee at the 23. Stay tuned for the halftime show, just 42 seconds away. Brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the Houston Texans scratch off today for a chance to win big. Coming up, C.E. King High School gets a special surprise from the Texans, and we take a look at what's new this season at NRG Stadium. Coming up with Drew at the half. Cooper Rush has gone the whole way in this first half for Dallas at quarterback. He'll come back out now with 42 seconds. 2 timeouts, starting 1st and 10 at the Dallas 24. Rush finds Gallup down at the 31. Good strong tackle again by Andre Sachere. And timeout taken by Dallas. They have 1 remaining.
30-second timeout.
Texas using a kind of a buzz coverage there with the inside slot guy working to the edge and just created a natural little open for him.
When the Texans perform on the field this season, you can win big. Exclusive for Texans fans. Get special offers from partners like Mattress Firm, Papa John's, Palais Royal, and Jack in the Box. Find all the details at HoustonTexans.com under the Game Day tab. Second down and 2. Rush. Juggled and incomplete.
Sachere was back there waiting for it, and the ball was placed where it was just on the back shoulder. He was in a position to make a play. Bobbles it. Just a 4-man rush for the Texans. Ball comes out pretty clean, just on the back shoulder.
Third down and 2 at the 32. Rush over the middle. Gallup leaping up to make the grab and a first down.
Rush did a nice job of finding those little voids in the Texans zone coverage. Texans playing conservative, off coverage, almost like a 4-cross with a single safety look underneath.
9-yard gain. Rush to the sideline. Lenore with the grab, and Lenore out of bounds. 10 seconds to play until halftime and a flag down.
Of course.
$12 men on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
You know, sometimes when you're going pace and tempo, Bill O'Brien's frustrated that somebody doesn't know their assignment. You get 12 men on the field not knowing when you're supposed to come, and that happens. You know, Romeo Crennel is one of the best there ever was, period. These guys are trying to get on and off the field down here at the base of your screen, and they can't get off in time.
So 1st and 5 now. 10 seconds until halftime. Rush under pressure, hit, and it's incomplete. Bellamy was coming from the backside, and then he had pressure in his face from Mufamba Kamalu.
Kamalu's been active tonight. Another one of those interior guys making plays. You can see Bellamy's working with that pole move, the left hand. His battery mate comes in there, helps him finish it off.
Cameron Fleming looked like he was on skates working against Bellamy there.
You know, that pole move is something those players use a lot, because when you can turn your body sideways, it actually gives you about 4 to 6 more inches of distance that the defender can't really block you.
Could be the final play of this first half. Rush quickly, gathers, takes a knee, gives himself up with 1 second remaining.
They're going to try to field goal.
Timeout.
Now we saw a
Dallas,
57-yarder from Brett Maher
30 seconds.
earlier. This would be substantially longer, and this is either going to be one of the longest field goals ever or a heave by Cooper Rush just to see how far he can throw it.
Well, it's tough to read Jason Garrett, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked.
Now, no kicker in evidence. This will be a Rush heave. Could have been about a 65-yard field goal try.
I'll see.
1 second until halftime.
That's the deepest 3-deep safety look I've ever seen.
Back at the goal line. 50 yards away, and Rush airing it deep. And D. Virgin with the pick. Now D. Virgin with a chance. Virgin down at the 31-yard line, and that is what brings us to halftime. D. Virgin made some plays in that first half, and he caps it with an interception.
I told you he was going to get an interception. Didn't think it would come that way, but it's just a little short center field lob, and he catches it, pulls it down, and he's headed. Hey, if you got a little option game in, maybe you get rid of that ball, man, and pitch it to your teammates.
Looked like a return man there.
Yeah.
I want to line him back up there as we go downstairs to Drew Doherty with the halftime interview with Bill O'Brien, driven by BMW. Drew?
All right, your defense only gives up 3 points this half. Pretty good job there. What'd you see? Lots of guys flashing on all levels of the ball.
Yeah, I think defensively we played well. I thought offensively it was terrible. And so we got to figure out, who wants to play in this locker room and come out in the second half, play better offensively.
On the whole, observation-wise, as far as roster cuts go, how much muddier, how much clearer is the picture after one half of football?
I think we got to watch the film, Drew, you know what I mean? I don't think you can really just make that decision just from being out here right now. I think you got to go watch the tape and see what that tells you.
All right, good luck in the second half.
All right, man.
Bill O'Brien, the head man of the Texans, not thrilled with the offense, but his defense doing its job so far tonight in this 4th preseason game. Drew Doherty's got the Texas Lottery halftime report coming up. 7-3, Houston with a lead in the break. You're watching Houston Texans preseason football presented by Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. Back at NRG Stadium alongside Spencer Tillman, I'm Kevin Kugler. A defensive battle in the first half. Texans defense looking good. Texans offense, as Bill O'Brien said, with some work to do.
Yeah, the offense does need some work. I think they can be a little bit more consistent in the throw game. We'll unpack that a little bit later, but I want to give the back-end guys on the defensive side of the ball some love. D. Virgin acquitted himself extremely well, covered like a blanket. He was outstanding. There was even a Treston DeCoop sighting, Oregon State showing proud for them. But I think ultimately this team, with Justin Reed, with the interception, despite the fact that the penalty was on it, I think they played well.
Let's check out the game stats brought to you by Reliant in that first half. See Alfred Blue, 4 carries, 18 yards, and the touchdown. Bill O'Brien said they're looking for more offense in this second half, Spencer.
Well, the offense is going to come when they get consistency. When you move the chain to get first down, you get more opportunities. And with a Joe Webb in there showing you, at times he's able to put the ball on the dime like he did with surgical-like precision with Braxton Miller over the top of coverage. I mean, then all of a sudden he's walking across Quan Bray. He completes one to him, moving one direction and throwing off that off shoulder and still completed the pass. So when you do that and you show you've got the capability, what you're looking for next is consistency and do it with the measure of predictability. So I think Joe Webb is going to get there, man. He's very gifted. We all know that. The thing about it is that talent is a challenge because he's special teams, receiver. We haven't seen him line up there, but he can do that as well. He's caught the ball from that position. Actually may figure in this team how many receivers they keep because he can do it.
Well, fans, we asked you earlier in the game to use hashtag Texans Game Day to show your Texans pride. Here's some of the photos that you have sent in tonight during this final preseason game. I mean, look, the team may be preseason, but you are all in mid-season form with these photos. Conway's ready for lots of touchdowns. Conway's gotten one, maybe more coming for Conway in this second half. Some pregame smiles. I'm sure those smiles have continued throughout the game tonight.
Beautiful.
Fun night.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You got a little K9 love going in there too, huh?
And that kind of love, too. Now, that's a hat. You know, it's fortunate because Spencer and I had that exact same hat on when we left earlier today, but we were talked out of wearing it by our producer, David Keeney, who said, you know, that hat's probably not the best thing.
He's got a hat on.
He does. That hat would have been probably more acceptable for our producer.
All right. See if we can do this one under 90 minutes, partner.
Tyler Irvin going to bring it out from 8.5 deep. Irvin looking for a lane.
Nice
and Irvin makes a nice move, and Irvin with a good return out to the 27, and no flag down on the return. And that brings us to our click list of the second half, brought to you by Kroger.
Like it had eyes, partner. You did it. Clean up the penalties in the return game. This is the first clean return, kickoff return, the Texans have had an opportunity. Got to be consistent in the throw game. We talked a little bit about that. And then just an overarching thought. Last chance for a good impression. This is it. Many of these guys will never don an NFL uniform again. About 70 or so on each side.
Well, think of that. That's why this game matters to these guys on the field for sure. You're talking about careers that are on the line. Every one of these guys has spent their lives playing this sport, and it may come to an end for some of them in the next 90 minutes or so.
And partner, there's some guys down on this field, kind of like I was many, many moons ago, had a wife, child. You know, we got responsibilities, and believe me, they figured in you making it. If you're a proverbial bubble player, you go down deeper to find a way to make a team when you got responsibilities.
You try to hang on playing in the National Football League as long as you can. The real world beckons. It's not as fun. Second down and 7 at the 30-yard line. Webb to the air, and a sliding catch made for the first down. That's an excellent grab on the slide by Jester Weah.
Weah does two things here. Number one, he puts himself in a position, a nice release to read the coverage and just slow down just enough for Webb to deliver that ball. And Webb showed the patience to deliver it as well.
First down and 10 at the 49. Swanson with the carry, and Swanson a yard to midfield. That wide receiver battle that we've talked about on and off throughout the night. You know, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller are going to be on that 53-man. You got a feeling that Kiki QT, despite not playing in the preseason, probably going to be on that roster. Where do you go at wide receiver after that?
Well, we talked about Braxton Miller off the top of the show, and I think because he was a value pick at number 22 in the third round, you know, you had Fuller in the first round, so you got a little leeway there. Not much pressure was on Braxton Miller, but this is year 3 in the payoff for him. I think that's still an opportunity for him to show up. I think he makes it, but it's going to really, really interesting to see what they do with this guy right here. To me, I think Sammy Coates Jr. in year 4, and talking to him yesterday, he senses there's an emergency. And, he played like it up until this point. We need to see a Sammy Coates sighting today.
Charles Tapper heads to the sideline, banged up on that play. Tapper's in a fight on this Dallas defense for a position. 2nd and 9 at midfield. Webb sliding catch by Vincent Smith. Smith able to get up, elude tacklers, and is close to the first down at the 42.
So they got your memo, buddy, at halftime. Number one, the consistency in the throw game's coming. Webb flashes those eyes upfield, then comes back out to Vincent, who slides and catches that ball, seats it, and then has the presence of mind that knows he hadn't been touched. So he gets back up to get a couple of additional yards. That's having your head in the game. These players are engaged.
Last time we saw that from Vincent Smith, he rolled into the end zone here for a touchdown to win a game in week 2 of the preseason. 3rd down, Webb under pressure, floats it out, and it is caught. Now the question is, where did Michael Pruitt get the ball? And it's short of the first down.
I think Joe Webb did a fine job of just getting that ball out. They're trying to bring the delay underneath. The misdirection worked, but it was just tremendous coverage by Dallas. Joe Webb, a nice job of getting it out. Turning you back to coverage, trying to fool some folks. It did work. Got it over the top of the head of the end rusher. Great job coverage.
Trayvon Johnson with a good tackle, and the Texans will go for it here on 4th down.
See, challenge you. Short motion here, come back with that tight end.
Webb on 4th, the give up the middle, and a first down. Terry Swanson, after contact, got the first down.
That's what it's about. That initial contact most people are going to get stoned in that phone booth. They call it offensive line from tackle to tackle. I think that play is made happening by Kendall Lamb, who turns this guy out. That creates a soft spot in there so he can go get that first down.
Kyle Cairo with the tackle. Cairo was safety at Northwestern, playing linebacker now for the Cowboys this preseason. Webb on the keep. And Webb caught near the 35-yard line by Jerron Johnson.
Inside zone read, that's stuff we call it hula bula, straight from college. And again, what Joe is reading is the inside guy, the guy that's out here. If he comes down, way down inside, he's going to pull that ball out of the belly of the mesh point and then run it himself. If he stays outside, it's going to leave it or stay in the pocket of the runner.
Straight handoff now for Swanson, and Swanson with nowhere to go. Into the waiting arms of Dorrance Armstrong.
Dorrance Armstrong was waiting for him, and when you're in the short side of the field, there's not a lot of place to navigate around there. You've got to run to daylight, get upfield as much as you can, and not a whole lot you can do.
Our 1st and 10 line this quarter is brought to you by Palais Royal. 3rd down and 7 at the Cowboys 36. Much stronger offensive possession so far in this first possession of the 3rd for the Texans. Webb with protection finds Quan Bray. Bray twisting his way towards the marker. He's going to be just short.
That's a really nice throw there. Quan Bray finding a soft spot in the zone. The Cowboys bailing out of this, showing pressure. Quan Bray just trails. See, he's trying to split the difference between two guys. He doesn't know as the ball is snapped whether it's man or zone. But just when he turns his back, it's an indicator of what's happening in front of him. That's just a really good job of diagnosing the coverage.
Bringing the chains in just to see how close this is to the first down.
He's going to get it by a link or two.
There we go. Just short. So 4th down. They've already converted once on 4th down on this drive.
Come this far. Why not?
So Joe Webb and company. Webb tonight 9 of 14, 106 yards.
That's running back kind of numbers there, man. He's just such a difficult out because of his skill set. And the crazy thing about it is the closer you get to the red area or the 20-yard line into the green zone 5 yards in, the playbook expands with a guy like this.
So now 4th down and 1 again. Last time it was Swanson who got the carry and got the first down. Swanson again gets the carry. This time won't get the first down. Huge surge up front from the Cowboys. Austin Larkin, the rookie from Purdue, started the push. Finished off by Kyle Cairo, and the Cowboys defense gets the stop. 9:44 to go in the 3rd. Still 7-3 Houston. Our scoreboard this quarter brought to you by your local Texas Ford dealers. Not going to see number 4 tonight other than right there on the bench checking out video. He's studying though.
Yeah, he's studying. That's that tablet, man. He's in his head's in the game.
New quarterback Mike White on, 5th round pick for the Cowboys. The handoff to Jordan Chun, and Chun trying to get to the outside. Good run by Chun, the rookie from Troy, with a first down to the 42.
Chun did something that any good back needs to be able to do. Understand that the sideline is there. Get vertical, get up the field. He got an additional 4 yards once he turned up the field. Most guys these days anyway that just like the game, not love it, they're content with just a 4 or 5 yard game. He got more.
When you're an undrafted rookie trying to figure out a way to stick, do whatever you can. Dalton Schultz, tight end, lined up the fullback spot with Chun, the running back. On first down, Chun again looking for room up the middle, pushed back by the interior of that Texans defensive line. Outside linebacker for the Houston Texans, pretty good shape when you look at those top 2 guys on the list. 2 of the best in the game. Brandon Scarlett has flashed tonight. I know you love that guy, Spencer Tillman.
Well, he has really flashed. He's shown us just a quadrille of moves. The helicopter move, the spin move in week 1. He showed us the ability to reverse his pace, and then come back with violent hands to get to the quarterback. So many different ways. It's like a pitcher with 5 different pitches that can change it up on you. He's a bright spot. in that group.
2nd and 7 at the 45. 4-man pressure from the Texans to the sideline and Lenore stopped a yard short of the first down at the Houston 49.
Bryce Jones there on the stop, and again, soft coverage, able to pick up some significant yardage on that play. And nice mix of run and getting the Texans aware of the fact that they will run the ball in the middle of the field and coming back out to the perimeters.
3rd down and a yard.
This is a tough one here. I mean, this is classic Cowboys. Right side, they're coming this way.
Chun, the running back. 3 tight ends to the right side. Chun with the carry up the middle, and Chun's got the first down to the Houston 44.
They come with a strong right look with 2 tight ends to one side, and then eventually the weak spot came back to the left side. And this play is telegraphing what they're going to do. They play with nice leverage with the Cowboys up front. The Texans do a nice job of bending this play back to the weak side, but that's where the numbers advantage for Dallas actually worked in their favor.
So a new set of downs for Dallas. Schultz with the grab, and Schultz down just to the 35-yard line.
That flex
to DAL. Excuse me, Spencer. No, excuse me, partner.
That flex tight end look giving the Texans a little bit of problems. It's really a matchup deal. When you get a smaller guy just trying to defend a tight end, it can really make it a clean and simple and provocative target for a quarterback to want to throw at a guy that big when there's about a 180-pound guy behind him.
First time tonight the Cowboys have gotten inside the Houston 39-yard line. 2nd and 1 at the 35. Chun again the single back.
Texans bringing an extra defender now with a single safety look. See if they can stop the run.
Goes down. Chun lunging to the 30.
Yeah, it's simple math. If you see one guy high, that means you've got an extra defender around the line of scrimmage. But the Cowboys not going to deter them. They're still moving the chains, and the Texans have got to have a response here.
That Texans defense has been up to the challenge tonight for Romeo Crennel. 36th year coaching in the National Football League. Not the defensive coordinator a year ago, was 2 years ago. Texans led the National Football League in defense his last year as the coordinator. White sets up the screen to Chun. Excellent play to slow him down, and then DAL to finish it off. But a tip of the cap to Peter Kalambayi. Didn't finish the tackle, but he slowed him up enough to get some help from his defense.
Kalambayi being very disruptive. You can see him again working here upfield, and he works through it. A blocker in front of him, Kalambayi just does a fine job of shedding and releasing and getting up there to disrupt that. Would be a great play if he's not there to protect that edge. That's good football.
Holds the Cowboys to a gain of 2 to the 28. Chun again with the carry, and not as much room this time. Chun stopped just shy of the 25.
Texans blowing their shoulders a little bit in there in the inside. That's kind of what we saw that defined the first half of play. Against the run, the Texans weren't giving them much at all, but I think what the Cowboys did is Romeo Crennel looked for solutions, is they did a nice job of mixing the run and the pass, making the Texans declare what they're going to do. Just a fantastic job.
44 yards allowed on the ground tonight by this Texans defense. They've been stout for most of the game. Looking for a stop here on 3rd and 6.
Man free here. Soft coverage. Let's see if they can get pressure.
Good protection. Lenore with the catch and a good tackle. Bryce Jones kept him short of the first down.
Well, when you go man like that and then pressure, you've got to win your individual battles, and Jones did on that play. He knew what he was facing, guys, with a running start. You got 4. You got a game working on the inside with your linebacker. That means you have no help underneath. 44, Jones. Nice job in open space for the stop.
Close enough, though, for Jason Garrett to go for it on 4th down. Down 4, 3:50 to go in the 3rd. Texans fans making some noise on 4th down.
Texans with a similar look in terms of the numbers. Pressure coming.
Chun on 4th down, and Chun not going to get there. Ibrahim Campbell with the penetration to blow it up and stop the Cowboys.
Ibrahim Campbell and company did a fantastic job of bending but not breaking on this drive, showing you exactly what it means to stop them. The Texans to 9.
You can win 2 tickets to the Houston Texans home opener against the New York Giants on September 23rd just by watching the game you're watching right now. We're going to announce the Mattress Firm Rising Star during the 4th quarter. When you hear it, visit abc13.com and enter the Rising Star's name. You could win 2 tickets, parking, and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty Whiteout game. Brandon Weeden back in at quarterback for the Texans on first down after the defensive stop. Weeden going to the air. Good protection, and it's incomplete. Jester Wheel was open, put it right on his hands.
Wheel was trying to discern the coverage. He needed to keep on coming because the hole of the window for him was at the next level. Wheaton saw it. He knows he's got the big arm. He's trying to discern what he needs to do. Come on, he's not quite sure, and he's giving the quarterback a false read. Are you going to continue and treat it like man, or are you going to sit it down like it's zone? You've got to be able to communicate. Have to be able to communicate.
Weeden 2 for 6 tonight for 20 yards. Each team with a 10-play drive in this quarter, each one with the longest drive of the game.
Got to get this ball out quick.
And it's batted down at the line. Good hands by Dorrance Armstrong. We've called his name several times tonight for the Dallas Cowboys, continuing a really strong preseason for the rookie from Kansas.
Well, Dorrance does a nice job of, again, at the time. If you can't get to the quarterback, even though you get cut, you got to get those hands back up to affect the quarterback. And he just does a nice job. You give him credit for it, staying after it.
4th round pick by the Cowboys. First team all Big 12 at Kansas a year ago.
Officials timeout.
One of the bright stars on what otherwise was a dismal year.
Officials timeout. 3:23 remaining in the 3rd. And a 7-3 advantage for the Texans. Just a little equipment situation. So now back at play. Ray and Smith to the top of the screen with Braxton Miller at the bottom of your screen.
3rd and long, but they don't see any pressure here.
4-man pressure. Weeden in trouble, and he's sacked. It's Armstrong again for Dallas.
You know, the disappointing thing from the Texans standpoint is you knew that you were going to have to protect a period of time. Armstrong is coming. It's just a 4-man rush. You can see them down. 41 is up. The pressure is coming from here, and on the other side as well. Armstrong just stays consistent and gets after it, man. That's the disappointing thing is you've got 5 guys in. You didn't keep a back in, but you still have a 1-man advantage. You should be able to protect your quarterback long enough to get that ball out.
3rd sack tonight for Dallas. Texans have done a good job previous in the preseason protecting the quarterbacks as Trevor Daniel with a short punt. Flag down as the ball bounces out at the Houston 49. Punt plays have been the most frequently penalized plays in this 4th preseason game. Getting another one here. Had a lot of hats off on these punt plays as well.
Texans have cleaned up for the most part many of their kick return issues with penalties as Coach Seeley looks on. They brought him in here to fix and clean up this decimated group. Again, last year the special teams broke down in so many different areas. Coverage teams, punt coverage teams.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 32. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, Dallas. Timeout.
Donovan Olumba with the penalty for Dallas. It'll back the Cowboys up a little bit more. Still down 4. College football's biggest Saturday officially kicks off in Houston this Labor Day weekend as the Texas Tech Red Raiders take on the Ole Miss Rebels this Saturday in the AdvoCare Texas Kickoff. Secure your seats today by visiting AdvoCareTexasKickoff.com or by calling 832-667-2390. Get your seats for this Big 12 SEC showdown. Don't miss out.
Guns up, baby.
It'll be a lot of points. I'll just predict that. That'll be a high-scoring game. Cowboys from the 43-yard line on first down and 10. Mike White, the quarterback, and the give to Jordan Chun, and Chun picks up 3 to the 46-yard line before he's pushed back.
Well, there was absolutely nowhere to go for Jordan Chun, but he did find You know, a little bit of room in there. Kais was on the back end to be able to stop him, but there was absolutely nothing at the line of scrimmage. It was just the patience and the ability to sift through a small opening for a little positive gain.
Look at Josh Kais.
Yeah. Josh has been quiet today, but flashed earlier in the preseason with some huge hits.
Second and 7. 5-man pressure, airing it down the sideline, and it's batted away.
That's beautiful.
Sachere running stride for stride with Drez Anderson.
And why he was able to get away with this because he turned and tried to locate the ball. Sachere does a fantastic job of pressing and redirecting and understanding where he is. Even though he gets the left hand around the collar, he turns and then sells the job. He does a tremendous job of high pointing the ball himself with his free hand. And the official's not going to call that one. That's just quality football there, using the sideline and his instinct and a little trust. Sachere, good job.
3rd down and 7, and the backfield empties out. All on the shoulders of Mike White, the rookie from Western Kentucky. 3-man pressure. White throws it short, juggled it incomplete. Before he could pull it in, it was a big hit from Bryce Jones to make sure Anderson wouldn't secure it.
Bryce Jones probably could have hit him harder than he did. And I'm telling you, this is the reason why accuracy is so important for a quarterback. When you put it on that back shoulder and he can't handle it, Jones comes and makes him pay for it. He probably could have put a bigger hit on him. But again, the inability to put that ball in front so the player can be thrown open cost him.
In the punt return game again with Tyler Irvin back deep. Irvin going to try to return this one from 13. Sidled his way across the 15 and is down near the 19-yard line. Texans starting deep in their own end. They've been hanging on all night to this 4-point lead. (7-3) lead. Texans over the Cowboys. Kevin Kugler, Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty, our entire Texans TV crew at NRG Stadium in Houston. Final game of the preseason. We've been talking all night about the punting battle, and is there any separation developing even tonight between Trevor Daniel and Shane Leckler?
Not much, but I give Trevor Daniel, undrafted out of Tennessee, credit. He said he came here because he wasn't intimidated. He thought he could learn something from a guy that's been in the league for 19 years. I thought that was a really confident move on his part.
Webb on the keep. Joe Webb getting quarterback down at the 23-yard line to pick up a 4.
And sometimes when teams start showing tendencies, that's the play that I would have called on the opposite side, is they got a man down on the field, the Cowboy, or they tend to him. But sometimes you got to not let him read that and take it to the edge and try to get a first down if you can.
It's Austin Larkin that they're tending to, the rookie from Purdue.
Alma Mater doing well.
This Texans defense has done its job. They'd like to see a little bit more from the offense. As Bill O'Brien talked about with Drew at halftime, had a 10-play drive to start this 3rd quarter. See if Joe Webb can engineer something as Larkin makes his way to the sideline.
I think Bill O'Brien is just, creating a nice competitive context, not trying to get anybody hurt or anything like that, but just alternating those quarterbacks to give them some sense of competition and an opportunity.
Of course, the real focus is September 9 in New England. Start off this season. He's trying to ramp this team up to that point. 2nd and 6. Coleman runs into trouble in the backfield. Kyle Fuller got blasted into the backfield, and Coleman ran right into his back. Good push up front from the Cowboys.
Cameron Reed did just a great job of pushing him back. Anytime you could play on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, Fuller had no chance, and he just came in there and just bull rushed him, and Reed got in the backfield, man. That's a huge play. He looked like Joel Heath.
5th year for Karan Reed out of Princeton. It was a 5th-round pick by the Lions back in 2014. He's bounced around a little bit, got a good push there.
Yeah, they're getting major push up front, and that's where protection becomes a liability. There's a penalty on the play. And we can see that again. This is where having running backs that can stick their nose in the line of scrimmage and prevent the seepage.
Holding Offense number 21. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
That is the running back Tyler Irvin called for the hold.
You know, Bill was right. There are some things schematically you can do when you get a guy that may not be able to block. You do put him in the passing scheme, but if you can't block up front, you get 2 plays where you've got major pushback, like we saw in this current series. You're in a tough spot.
It looked like a situation where water was leaking through the dam, and one little crack turned into 5, turned into 10. Leckler uncorks a beauty, driving Lenore back inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Now can the coverage occur? Lenore dancing around through the 30, breaks a tackle, and Lenore zigzags to the 41.
Whirling dervish in there. Well, the net won't look good, but the initial punt certainly did.
61 on the punt.
61 on the punt. Take that, Trevor Daniel.
But then Lenore going back and forth. He needed to perform big tonight. He had 2 fumbles earlier in the preseason, although one of them was when one of his guys was blocked into him. Spent all of last year on the practice squad for the Cowboys. He was looking to make some plays tonight. See if he could stick on this Cowboys squad that's got Tavon Austin, Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams, Michael Gallup, pretty much set at wide receiver there. From the 42 on 1st down off play action. Mike White stepping up. Mike White looking deep. The ball underthrown and incomplete. Trez Anderson, the intended receiver. Andre Sachere on the coverage. And that's the end of quarter number 3 in Houston. Texans with a 7-3 lead, trying to finish the preseason on a winning note.
A portion of this broadcast is brought to you by Reliant, an NRG company. By Mattress Firm. When the Texans win, you win at Mattress Firm. And by Houston Methodist, official healthcare provider for your Houston Texans.
The start of the 4th quarter, the final game of the 2018 preseason, NRG Stadium, where the Houston Texans lead 7-3 over the Dallas Cowboys. 2nd and 10 at the 42 for Dallas. 3rd-team quarterback Mike White running the show for the Cowboys here to start this 4th quarter. Trying to bounce to the outside with some fresh legs is Trey Williams, and Williams dancing up the sideline to midfield. First time we've seen the former Texas A&M Aggie and Trey Williams showing some speed, but a flag down, going to bring this one back.
I think Kamala was held. He did a nice job.
Holding. Number 80 offense. 10-yard penalty at the previous spot. 2nd down.
And that's been the weakness in the transition of Rico Gathers from basketball to football. He has struggled as a blocking tight end. He's done a good job catching the football, but the blocking has been an issue.
You can hand check him, but when you got a big old 280-pound guy running over you, it's kind of tough. You know, the tendency is to want to restrain him, but this isn't hoops, baby. You can't hand check anybody in this one.
So back it up to the 32, 2nd down and 20. Set it up for Williams. And Williams back near the original line of scrimmage and rolls a yard pass to the 43.
Nice job of setting that play up. Misdirection coming back to the weak side of the field where the Texans had fewer numbers. And again, it's just well-designed play. Missed tackle, falling for a couple additional yards. Texans, for the most part, have been sure-handed making plays.
Williams a little shaken as he comes off to the sidelines. He's been with Washington, Dallas in 2015, New England, Miami, and Indianapolis, and now back with Dallas as Drew Doherty standing by with a special guest, DeAndre Hopkins.
Special indeed, All-Pro in 2017, so you have a season like you did last year. What do you do in 2018 to top that?
Try to come out and get, team wins. That's my vision at the end of the day. All-Pro is good, but, we went 4-12, so I got a lot I can work on to help this team win more games.
And that's something that's very interesting about you. It's what the best do. You're always inquiring. You're always asking, whether it's Richard Sherman when you're practicing against him, whether it's defensive backs on your own team. What are some things that you did work on specifically?
I worked on handoff coordination. You know, being a receiver, that's the main thing. So, you know, you can never, you know, judge the ball best as you think you can. You know, I know people think I got great ball skills, but I feel like I can get better. So I was doing a lot of things with tennis balls, a lot of things with golf balls, just little small balls, working on my hand-eye coordination.
God help the rest of the league. Okay, so you've evolved as a leader. It's been fun to see this. You come into the league, you got Andre Johnson, you're learning from him, but you're very, very vocal now. What's brought that all about?
Because I see that's how guys learn. You know, when they look up to a guy like me, and just going out and doing it sometimes isn't good enough for people. So, you know, being vocal, and I know my role. I know where I sit on this team, so I feel like I can help this team win by, you know, being a leader vocally. That's what I'm going to do.
What have you thought about the competition tonight down the line at wide receiver?
It's great. It's great. We got a lot of competitive guys over here. A lot of guys that were, you know, that go to receiver in college, but coming here, you know, it's the NFL, it's different, but they still have that mentality that they want the ball, and I love it.
Last thing, how high are the hopes with you, Deshaun Watson, the rest of the crew?
Oh, man, you know, sky's the limit what that kid can do. You know, he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown man. So rephrase that, what that man can do. You know, so just, you know, us come out doing what we do. We know, you know, everything else will take care of itself.
Can't wait to see it, DeAndre. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Struggled on the return to Quan Bray, but the Texans do have the football at their own 26. 7-3 lead with 12:41 to go. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity. 12:41 to go in the fourth. Houston Texans football. Brandon Whedon back in at quarterback, and on first down, Terry Swanson gets a yard from the 26 to the 27. As Bill O'Brien, what has he learned so far from this game tonight, Spencer Tillman, that's going to help him make decisions with Ryan Gaines and the rest of the staff about what to do with this roster?
Well, he shied away from Drew's question at half in terms of what was made more difficult. I can guarantee you it was made more difficult by the play of this defensive unit. Some of the guys that have stepped up, Divergent chief among them and others.
2nd and 9, screen to Swanson, and Swanson caught from behind. Good chase down by Karan Reed of the Cowboys.
And specifically, partner, you know, there are guys that may flash like a Vincent or some others that you want to hide a little bit. You know, you want to make sure nobody else sees what they're doing, because if you have to cut them, you've done the body of work that they've accumulated is good enough to put them back on your practice squad. And so the performance tonight, I think, has complicated a lot of things at a bunch of key positions. I don't want to say too much because I think ultimately everybody's watching this.
1st and 10 line this quarter, brought to you by First Community Credit Union. They need 7 to get that first down on 3rd and 7.
Pressure look coming. They're all out blitzing.
Whedon with good protection, and he cannot connect with Quan Bray. The pass incomplete.
See, if you're Quan Bray, if you can pay off on a play like that, that's a big-time difference maker right there, because it was a full-out blitz coming. When it's 5 or more, it's a blitz, but there were like 6 guys coming there. Quan Bray comes out of that break with enough separation. The ball was a little bit back on his shoulder, but still, if it touches your hands, you got a chance to make a play.
Now Trevor Daniel back out to punt. Remember last time it was Shane Leckler. He punted 61 yards.
See what you got, Trevor.
Leckler's raised the ante a little bit. Trevor Daniel running up on it at the 35-yard line is Lenore. A flag comes in because it's a punt return, and down at the 37-yard line.
There may have been a block in the back on that one. But you're right, you wouldn't expect anything else. There's actually 2 flags coming out, one later.
Although thrown in the same area, so it may have just been 2 officials who really wanted to let everybody know that they both saw it.
It's preseason. They're practicing too.
Yep. They've gotten a lot of practice in the return penalty game.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 44. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Dallas.
Darius Jackson, much to the exasperation of Jason Garrett. Cowboys open on the road. They don't exactly have an easy go of it to start, with a trip to Carolina to start their year. The Giants then in on a Sunday night game before they make the trip west to Seattle.
And they've got a lot of personnel issues. I think you kind of talked a little bit about some. imminent pressure. Again, I'm looking at the back end and the secondary. It's almost like that ball had a string on the end of it. You know, it just didn't have enough oomph in it.
We've been looking at various positions all night, difficult positions for Bill O'Brien to judge, and that secondary is a spot that his coaching staff is going to be taking a very close look at. You know, they went out of their way to upgrade the secondary in the offseason. Aaron Colvin coming in, Tyrann Mathieu signing the one-year deal. But that cornerback position is going to be another interesting one, and another one where perhaps tonight has complicated matters a little bit with the play of a couple of guys on here, specifically Andre Sachere and Dean Virgin.
Well, Colvin has got a kind of a hamstring injury he's dealing with, and I know he's a highly respected cover guy that will ultimately figure into the mix. But I believe that Dean Virgin today has done some significant things that wakes people's eyes up. He may be a gamer type guy, the one that the context determines how effective he can be. When the stage is big, he hadn't shied away.
Just signed Kayvon Webster earlier this week as well to add some intrigue to that position. High throw, a good catch made by Anderson for the first down at the 40-yard line for Dallas.
And we don't know for sure, but I think Kayvon's signing was just really a function, as we look at Dean Virgin there, was a function of some injuries that took place. Kevin Johnson, chief among them. So that insurance policy helping them out on the back end. And then, of course, Andre HOU having to sit out, diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, or Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so we'll see how that affects Kareem Jackson, who's actually playing in the corner role and not safety when he got his pick the other day.
A play action, White to throw on first down. And that one off the mark, intended for Jordan Chung. Talk about Kayvon Webster's guy trying to come back from a ruptured Achilles last December.
And you know, when I saw the move initially, I was saying for the Rams, he played 11 games, you know, and they had the blowout. That's when you're driving and having to backpedal and come out of breaks. That and running back position is one that you know, you just don't see guys come back from that sprint. So I was a little bit surprised by that, but they know more than I do.
Lenore in motion on second down. Here's Chun again. Chun fights his way forward for a pair to the 42-yard line. Texans have done a good job tonight against the run. Kenan Gilchrist getting in there.
Gilchrist did a nice job of knifing in there and making the play, at least getting a hand in there. Romeo Cornell is always searching for somebody who has flexibility that he can use in this scheme. That's what you're looking for. We highlighted a play last week where they had a directional charge up front. JJ and everybody going to the right side, and Jadeveon Clowney, opposite of that, went left to create a huge gap, and it's all by design. But if that play is made possible by the athleticism, and Romeo's great at diagnosing.
Third down and 8. White got rid of it on time. The pass deflected and incomplete. Ball, receiver, and Ibrahim Campbell all got to the same spot at the same time, and Campbell gets the pass breakup.
Ibrahim Campbell is back there in the safety spot again. Dean Virgin gets turned on. Nice move, but he's saved by his battery mate who comes back there. Campbell saves the day. Great route run, playing the ball, just a tremendous effort. You can see White steps back, tries to play it off a little bit, takes a shot, but that ball is delivered where it needed to be.
Quan Bray back on punt return again for the Texans from the 10. Bray. A bit of an opening, dances out of bounds near the 24-yard line. 14-yard return for Quan Bray. Timeout in Houston with 8:44 to go. Our scoreboard this quarter is brought to you by Papa John's Houston. 7-3 Houston Texans, and Drew Doherty's on the sidelines with Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes, I am. Jadeveon, last week we got a glimpse of you. It looked like the 2017, the 2016 version of yourself. How you feeling? What are you thinking about 2018?
I think our defense is a lot better. I'm feeling pretty good. The guys came back healthy, and we're looking for a big season in 2018. The number was down last year, but I think with everybody healthy on the field this year, we're going to the sky's the limit for this defense and this team. We just got to stay together.
Yeah, sky's the limit. That's something we heard DeAndre talking about with Deshaun. What can you guys accomplish with all those pieces that are there?
I'm trying to be the number one defensive lead again and win the Super Bowl. That's what we're here for every year. I think everybody take that approach to every season, every team, and that's our approach every year. This year not different with everybody being here, being healthy. And this team is a we love to work, man. We working hard and competing, man. We're just a competitive roster right now. The cut's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be hard, but I know whenever it's all said and done, whoever gonna be here, gonna be competitive and gonna look compete at a high level. And that's what the coaches bring to the table. That's what this team brings to the table.
You bring up the coaches. How exciting has it been for you guys getting Romeo Crennel back as the coordinator?
Oh man, that's a big role. Man. I love Romeo, man. I want to work so hard for that guy because I just like, there's something about Romeo, man. Right? And he's a good guy, and just come out here and work hard for him. Just give him everything I got because I know he up there trying hard and been doing it for a long time, and he know what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. He know how to get it done. So whenever you hear that guy talk or speak, you just want to listen and take everything in.
He's got a lot of experience. Another guy with some experience on the field, Tyrann Mathieu. It's nice to see that guy, huh?
Oh yeah, it's great. I'm glad he came out to a good teammate and a good player, man. I'm glad he's on our team, and good to have him around and showing other guys what he's been through, what he see, and how he covered because I don't think many people got passes on him since he's been on our team in training camps. And he's so small, you ask him how he get it done, and he just keep getting it done. I'm just excited to see him play this year with the rest of the guys.
Good things can come in smaller packages. Well, thanks a lot, Jadeveon, and best of luck this season.
Thank you, man. Good to have you. See you. Y'all take care.
Jadeveon Clowney, I think most Texans fans would be pretty excited to see Clowney and Watt, Merciless, Kinney all on the field at the same time in New England. It's just been an upward, steady climb for Clowney in his young career.
He's been like a great stock with the steady climb. He had the injuries that beset him early on, but as you can see, culminating with 59 tackles in 2017.
Here's Webb on the keep. And Webb, about a 5-yard gain. It was real interesting while Drew was talking to Clowney. Of course, you're watching the game, and you see Joe Webb, the bad Joe Webb, which was a miss of a wide-open receiver. And then you see the unbelievable Joe Webb as he finds Michael Pruitt on that sprint out that he throws a dart in between 4 players.
And I got tweeted, people were sending me tweets, and what are you talking about? I got a consistency. That's a classic example on 2 back-to-back plays. Quan Bray is wide open, and the ball is over his head, and then he comes back and finds his target on a dart. I mean, that's amazing. It shows you what he can do, but he needs to be consistent.
You're not going to see a better throw than that.
Oh, my God. Look at this one.
Webb, there's Bray, took it away. And Quan Bray gets the first down. Justin March Lillard tried to jump that one and get the interception, and Bray just ripped it out of the air and moves the chains.
March Lillard at 53, you can see as a linebacker, you love the matchup. Quan Bray, smallish guy, about 180 if that, just plucks that ball and turns it upfield and just steals it from him. Great athleticism. One of the late signees trying to make a bid to stay on this team.
Angle back there with Swanson. It'll be Swanson on the keep, works through a hole, and March Lillard with the tackle near the 37-yard line.
So if Coach O'Brien thinks he can get away with it, put a tight end back there and treat it like a kind of an H-back. A lot of flexibility with these tight ends on this team, and may inform us with respect to what they do in the running back situation.
Or the fullback situation, too.
Yep.
As Jadeveon said to Drew, those cuts are going to be hard over these next 24 hours. 2nd and 6 at the 37-yard line. Again looking for room. It's Swanson, and Swanson turn it on the speed, touchdown!
You chip away, and you chip away, and you chip away. And Swanson, the element of recency is going to give him something to think about. He hits the microwave button. Swanson puts it on the plate, puts him in his hip pocket, and gets in for the score. That's nice. Good vision, patience, the ability to slide through those blocks made possible by just good reads up front. Oh, that's good football.
He was just a terrific running back at Toledo, averaged over 6.5 yards per carry in his career. Everybody excited to see the rookie get into the end zone. And the extra point by Nick Rose is good, and the Texans in command with a 14-3 lead. 5:11 remaining in the preseason. Terry Swanson's not getting rid of that football until he can get it to somebody for safekeeping. An NFL touchdown, even in the preseason, yeah, feels pretty good. The Texans kick off the regular season with 2 games on the road. Then we'll be back here at NRG Stadium on September 23rd for the Liberty Whiteout game against the New York Giants. If you're heading to the stadium, we want to remind you about the NFL's clear bag policy. And new this year, mobile tickets are available on your phone. Log on to HoustonTexans.com to learn more. 5:11 to go. Texans in control with a 14-3 lead over the Cowboys. Duke Thomas, 9.5 yards deep in the end zone, will take the knee. And the touchback will bring it back out to the 25. Good drive engineered by the Houston Texans to get into the end zone on the run from Swanson, 37 yards on a 7-play, 77-yard drive.
Yeah, and he did a nice job to Joe Webb of mixing things up with some pinpoint passing after errant pass got away from him. And then Swanson did a nice job of complementing what they were doing through the air on the ground on a nice little Fox 3 run, old school stuff. Put a tight end back in the backfield to help block for him. Just a nice little isolation play inside zone with great vision. He does a nice job of getting to the end zone. This is straight blocking up front for the Texans, but made possible by a consistent drive mixed up well, run and pass.
White on first down. To the sideline and nudged out of bounds is David Wells after a pickup of 5 to the 30-yard line.
Cowboys are going to try to test the Texans and see if they can get their version of a 2-minute drill type situation. Even though we've got 4:56 left, they're going to try to go, they're huddling, but they're going to try to go tempo and get the Texans on their heels defensively.
White, quick toss, good catch, first down. Across the 40 and flags come in. May have been a face mask as Darren Carrington, the rookie from Utah, is out to the 43.
Gilchrist was in there on the tackle as well. And they're going to get a face mask penalty here.
Personal foul, face mask, number 34 defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
God, D. Virgin, you're messing up your title, brother. We had the gun sights on you for a special role. You're going to mess it up reaching. You know, a lot of times when players get tired and they're not squared up on guys to block them in a form way, they start grabbing. When you start grabbing, you get in trouble.
First down and 10 at the 43 of Houston.
Oh, man.
The best laid plans. White to the air once more. Lenore with the catch, and Lenore dropped by D. Virgin.
There you go. Way to bounce back, D. D. Virgin's played a lot of football tonight. Interception. Nice job on off coverage here. Recovering. Those little switch routes are really dangerous too, because you got guys that are crossing. If you got man responsibility across your face, you try to avoid that pressure, but it can be tough.
White with late pressure gets to the sideline, and David Wells with a first down.
And they've not shied away from working on that side over there. They've been coming after D. Virgin all night long. He's played well in pass defense. A couple of breakups on the other side of the line of scrimmage and interception. He's done a pretty good job tonight, but these last few plays they've been tackling. He's trying to stay in. I think he's just physically worn out a little bit right now.
He's gone pretty much the whole way.
Yep. When guys start grabbing, that's always a telltale sign that they're a little bit tired.
On the 31 on first down. White in the air, incomplete. Jordan Chung frustrated he couldn't pull that one in.
Gilchrist thought he had a chance. He's fast, but he ain't that fast. He was trying to get to it.
Yeah, he would have needed a little extra speed to chase that one down.
Cowboys are fortunate, though. They had man routes on the outside, vertical routes, and which meant that the guy who was in a position to intercept it couldn't, because he was covering his guy. Pressure was nice, just bounced off the shoulder and the helmet. Cowboys are lucky.
Second down and 10. White, Lenore. This Cowboys offense has not found the end zone in now 2 preseason games. They got a late field goal, 45 yards from Maher to close out the Cardinal game last week. Tonight, the 57-yard field goal for Maher, the only points on the board for Dallas. And Lenore, who's been banged up before, slow to get up here.
This game and this drive in particular is taking on a similar look at the previous drive when Dallas was held short of a score. Again, the Texans playing 2 deep zone, seeding the underneath route, allowing the Cowboys some yardage. But let's see if Romeo Cornell does like he did on the previous drive when he held them with some pressure as they knocked on the door. Texans do bring him one man down, so you've got single safety look.
3rd and 2. White deflected at the line, incomplete.
Good defense.
Like Darius Kilgo got a hand on that one to bat it away.
Darius did get a hand on it. Number 96. Again, sometimes on those quick routes where the ball is going to come out fast, you can't necessarily get to the quarterback, but you can get your hand up and time it. And that's exactly what Kilgo did. Fantastic job. And he knows it immediately. He gets that hand up. That's me, baby. We see you.
We saw Brett Maher make a 57-yarder earlier. This time the former Nebraska Cornhusker will line it up for 41 yards away.
Oh, I can hear you.
And Maher right down the middle.
Nailed it.
Brings the Cowboys within a score and a 2-point conversion, tying it up. 3:24 to go in the 4th. Continue our look at different positions that these Texans coaches are going to have to pare down after tonight, and that safety spot was a weakness at times last year. It has really turned into a position of strength, at least on paper right now, with the addition of Tyrann Mathieu.
And we've got Kareem Jackson listed over there at safety, and yeah, he'll play it technically, but they'll move him around a lot. And when he had the interception against the Rams last week, he was in a corner spot. So again, Treston Decoud, we saw a little bit of him tonight, but time may be running out on the Beaver there, or the State Beaver. We thought he would be much more of an impact player. I got a chance to see him play a couple of years back with some consistency, and he showed me some range that has kind of eluded him at this next level.
Justin Reed certainly has shown up as the weeks have gone on, but Tyrann Mathieu signed to that 1-year deal, has gone out of his way to be a good leader. Bill O'Brien telling us that he's just a terrific teammate and a really good pro. And you know, when coaches call a guy a good pro, that's the ultimate compliment. If you're a good pro, that's one of the best things a coach will say about you.
Because coaches know that it's about leadership, and these guys, I don't care if they're making a lot of money, they still are influence. And Bill O'Brien, it helps you when you have a team that has natural leaders or leaders that have developed the ability to lead and influence. And this guy, who played all 16 games last year for the first time in a long time, is in a unique position to influence the younger players on this team because he's demonstrated. Seems like it was just yesterday we had him in our studios in New York when he was up for the Heisman. That's the kind of impact that this defensive player had as a collegiate player, and he's now getting back to that form.
Joe Webb at quarterback from the 25-yard line on 1st down. Looking for running room is Coleman, and Levon Coleman, the ball popping out, and it's loose still. Webb, I believe, ended up with it. Fuller had a shot at it. Webb ends up with a football.
That's Johnny on the spot. And again, you know what? A lot of times quarterbacks that try to run these faux zone read concepts, they don't carry out the fake. But Webb, because he's who he is going to continue to carry out the fake. That's why he's in close proximity to that loose ball right there. And he saves Coleman on that one. That one will get you a apple on the roadmap really quickly, giving up the ball.
Webb there to cover it up at the 33. Cowboys utilizing their first timeout with 3:11 to play in the 4th. Get a taste of the Lux experience with a Houston Texans single game suite. A limited number are available for big games, including opening day against the New York Giants and Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans. Enjoy the game with a dedicated suite attendant, world-class food and beverage offerings, and multiple TVs to keep up with action around the NFL. Visit HoustonTexans.com/suites or call 832-667-2299 to find out more.
Talk about service with a smile. Those Lux packages, man, is something special. They come by with those carts with the ice cream and all that stuff on it. It's good stuff.
It's not a bad way to watch a game or eat your way through a game. 2:45 to go in the 4th. Next order of business for Houston and Dallas and everybody else in the league will be to start paring down that roster.
And it's going to come, they've got less time to do it in this time. Of course, it was in play last year, but
no more mid-preseason cut anymore. It's the full 90 until you get to the 53. And then teams will have the weekend to look around the league, see who's out there, make changes, try to start stocking the practice squad. And
timeout.
Then the attention turns to New England for the Texans.
You know, partner, Bill O'Brien didn't really unpack more of it, but remember last year now because of Hurricane Harvey, the Texans didn't play this game.
Right.
So they had more time to kind of sort things out. Unfortunate circumstances under which they did it. But I'm just curious if in real time how they're going to manage this, because I think today was made more difficult. At least 3 different positions that I see were made more difficult because of the performances of players in this last audition.
Yeah, you didn't have that audition for those guys last year. You had to base it on the first 3 games. 2nd and 9 at the 37-yard line. Running room for Swanson, and then it closes quickly as he gets to the 42-yard line. Cowboys will not use their final timeout here. They'll let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Houston. And a first down and basically salt this one away. 2-minute warning has arrived at NRG Stadium with the Texans trying to close out the preseason with their 3rd preseason win.
It is that time again, everybody, to announce your winner for votes of the Mattress Firm's Rising Star. It is going to be my main man, Terry Swanson, 14 carries, 67 yards in this TD right here on the Fox 2 run. Now go to abc13.com and enter a chance to win 2 tickets, parking and pregame sideline passes for the September 23rd Liberty White Out game. Good luck, everybody, and congratulations, Swanson.
Terry Swanson. Enter his name. Maybe you had another name that you were starting to enter, but enter Terry Swanson's name.
You dog. You got me, man. He folded on me, did D Virgin. I thought he had a chance.
3rd down and 4. Texans trying to put this one away. Low snap. Webb does a good job to pick it up, looking for the sideline, and Weah, and the pass incomplete, and there's a flag. And it's pass interference against the Cowboys, and the Texans are going to be able to run this one out.
How about that?
Joe Webb keeping his cool on that low snap, Spencer, and ends up getting the ball into a pass interference situation.
Stop out. Automatic first down.
Looking for Weah, and the hand driving through from Donovan Olumba.
Olumba had that left hand. It was kind of out of that picture, but clearly the back judge saw it.
Cowboys have 1 timeout remaining. Swanson losing a yard or 2 off of those numbers that Spencer told you a moment ago.
Well, he's shown patience. I mean, that's the thing that really separated him, I think, from all the other runners. It wasn't a particularly athletic run that he had on the Fox 2. It was just really good football instinct. Great blocking up front. Give him that touchdown run.
2nd down and 12 now. J.J. Watt. We saw him in action last week in Los Angeles. He was happy to get out there, get a few snaps, get a little live contact. He, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, they'll be out there for real a week from Sunday. On 2nd and 12, Swanson right up the middle, driven back after a pickup to the 48-yard line. A pickup of 2 to Devion Clowney. I mean, I'm excited to see this defense fully healthy. And I don't know who you are too, Spencer. J.J. Watt, Devion Clowney, Whitney Merciless, Bernardrick McKinney all out there. DJ Reader in the middle of that defensive line, that retooled secondary going to work. Bill O'Brien, you know, is happy to see all those guys not on IR like they were at the end of last year when there were 23 players on the Texans injured reserve list.
Well, our camera crew, I'm happy that they're doing a tremendous job of getting the shots. Tyrann Mathieu there and providing the shots through these 4 preseason games that we've had. Dave, Clay, and the whole group.
Yeah, kudos to our crew. I mean, the shots you see, the pictures you've seen, the replays you've seen, all thanks to the hard work of those men and women who put these on throughout the preseason for Texans TV. Texans take the timeout with the clock down to as low as it can go. Now the Texans getting ready for the regular season. A couple of games on the road to start things off, and then the Texans get to come home. This home schedule: Giants on the 23rd, Dallas on Sunday night, October 7th, Buffalo on the 14th, and a Thursday night game against Miami. Monday night football coming to town. A lot of primetime activity for the Texans, almost as if people expecting this team to be pretty good this year.
They can get through that division. I mean, the schedule looks good to me. I will never call it easy, but the bottom line is this division is going to be tough to get out of, with Jacksonville playing the kind of defense that they play. Indy with a good quarterback, a healthy Luck. You never know, man. It's strong right there now.
It's an interesting division. Maybe the most interesting division in football. Jaguars, Titans, both playoff teams. Luck back, Watson back, Watt back, Clowney back. Everybody's ready to roll.
And see, this right here fools a lot of people when they see that. You got to consider who was not lining up in those two teams right there, with Andrew Luck not part of what the Colts are doing. He's the catalyst. Of course, JJ and everybody on the defense that was lost to injury, including your quarterback on the offensive side. So this is going to be a vastly different conference division. Very competitive.
Well, we talked with Aaron Colvin earlier in this preseason about this division. Of course, he was over with the Jaguars last year. He said, look, from what I've seen, this Texans team is every bit as talented as the Jacksonville Jaguars. He just left it. He said this team's got grit. This team's competitive. He likes what he has seen throughout the preseason from his new squad. And
I mean,
how could you not?
Yeah, he had mad love.
Oh.
Coach Seeley's got mad at somebody.
Not sure it's love.
It's tough love.
Here's Leckler on to punt, trying to pin the Cowboys deep. Lenore. Oh, Lenore just laying him out. That's a flag.
Yeah, it is. I was wondering when the first offensive player was going to get hit with one of those, and that's going to do it. That right there is uncalled for. If this were a regular season,
be an ejection.
He'd be ejected right now. That's uncalled for.
Jester Weah, he just sized him up. Watch this.
I mean, yeah, he's not trying to catch. He just goes and puts that shoulder right to the head. And that's just stupid.
Boy, that was the easiest flag to throw on a return tonight for this officiating crew.
I'm embarrassed if I'm a Dallas Cowboy right now. I'm sorry, but and I taken some big shots and delivered some big shots on special teams. Let me tell you, that's weak right there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 14, receiving team. Half the distance to goal, first down.
He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet, so it's not the helmet rule, but it's certainly, I mean, if you're talking about a defenseless receiver, I know he's not a receiver in that scenario, but Jester Weah just got blasted by Lenore.
You know, I look at it, and the first take is always the most offensive one, but as I look at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought. But to me, it's just the idea of knowing what a gunner is supposed to do. He's got his sights on the ball in the air, and to take a shot at him like that, to me, is uncalled for.
Here's Lenore. Blockers in front. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet. And Lenore ends the game, going out of bounds to close this one up and to close the 2018 preseason. Houston Texans win it 14-6, knocking off Dallas. And now the regular season and the New England Patriots await this Texan squad.
Partner, it has been a joy to work with you again for another season. And again, for these Texans, the number one thing, the takeaway for me, is they're all healthy right now, at least at the mission critical positions. And as they talk about it, I'm excited about what's possible.
This will be a very fun season for this Houston Texans squad, but some very difficult decisions now to be made by Bill O'Brien and his coaching staff, with cut day looming and the 53-man roster needing to be set. That's going to do it from Houston for the preseason. For Spencer Tillman, Drew Doherty, and our entire Texans Television Network crew, this is Kevin Kugler saying so long from NRG Stadium. Our final tonight, the Texans defeat the Cowboys 14-6. This has been a presentation of the Texans Television Network. Enjoy the regular season, everybody.